listening to the Bomb Hole.
Bomb Hole Podcast.
It's going to be very hot. It's going to be very uncomfortable for everybody.
The Bomb Hole.
We're gonna slide down them big hills, you know what I mean, on the big, nice burgundy snowboard.
All right, here we go again. We're back in the booth at the Bomb Hole, which is presented by Pub Beer. Now, we always start this thing off the same way. Stony Buds, how are we doing?
So good, my dog.
God, love hearing that. Now, to my left, we have Seth Brisson and Vicki Golden in the booth. How we doing, guys?
Cruising, happy to be here.
We are delighted to have you in the booth today. I kind of want to just start things off by kind of asking what happened last night when we were playing video games. We've been playing the Supercross video game. How's that been going?
You don't even want to talk about my performance. You don't even want. Dude, the last gaming console I had was a PS2, so I'm not at anyone's level. And of course, it took Vicki like 2 laps to figure it out and start smoking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not
dog
good.
doing heated battles.
Yeah, we've been battling.
Yeah,
we've been battling.
battles.
How are you at that?
I'll tell you, I'm still trying to come back from a loss. The last race of the night, Vicki mopped me up, and it's been a tough road for me. But we're
typical for Vicki, though. Huh?
Yeah, she's got good corner speed. We need to work on that.
Yeah, you're more of a sprint guy.
More of a sprint.
Fell apart at the end, and I just went through it, and I'm long game. You had the sprint lap.
Yeah,
so.
I was undisciplined out there. Undisciplined. So for our listeners that are unfamiliar with Vicki Golden and Seth here, basically they both make a living riding motorcycles, which is fucking awesome. So Vicki is the best female to ever throw a leg over a dirt bike. Tons of X Games medals, gold medals. She's got bronze medals. She's got X Games medals against the dudes in best whip. She mops up all the fucking dudes, which is great.
Including me.
And myself as well. In both racing and freestyle motocross. Huge part of the progression of the sport as a whole. Now, Seth rides Harleys. He does stunt shows, makes videos. He basically wheelies Harley Davidsons for a living, which is fucking awesome. Both are great on motorcycles, and then Seth grew up snowboarding. So it should be a super fun show. We're going to talk motorcycles. We're going to talk snowboarding. We're going to get into all of those things.
Hard-hitting facts.
Hard-hitting, and then obviously Seth has a little room for improvement racing the Supercross video game we've been playing, but
I just might as well not play. I got to go full-blown, I need a trainer. I mean, I gave you the sticks, and they were just soaked. I was so nervous.
You're just sweating all out of control.
Just perspiring the whole time. I had to go hit the speed stick in between races.
Well, then he started just going. He was just trying to take me out, and he basically he'd yell racecraft, and then hook his bike across the screen and go for the takeout.
Does that work?
A couple times he took me out. A lot of times he's just completely out of control. But
drunk Jim.
Racecraft is. How would you explain racecraft? What it actually is? Not what you're doing.
Is that the game? Is that what it's called?
No, the game's called Monster Energy Supercross 5.
Oh, wow, Monster Energy.
Yep.
Racecraft, I mean, you know more about it than me.
I mean, basically, when you're battling with someone and you kind of are predicting where they're going to go, and that's kind of something you just kind of get intuition on, where they're going to go, take their line from them, or if you're behind them where you think they're going to go and kind of get the pass on them, and that's basically what racecraft is, and Chris doesn't have any of that.
And my category of racecraft is how am I going to take you out?
Yes, that is another type of racecraft.
Yeah, he's got just plain dirty racecraft.
Yes.
It's called aggression.
It is. Yep.
I don't know if it's really considered racecraft.
Anger/aggression. Yeah, it's good stuff.
And so racecraft's something that's real when you're racing.
Oh yeah. I mean,
as you get better, you can really.
Yeah, you can kind of start feeling like if you're in front and you have someone behind you and you feel where they're catching you, that's when it's your time to make your line choice different that next lap, or they're going to pass you. And if you don't really have that, or you don't think that's how you get past, and same thing if you're behind, you want to figure out where they're going and where you can make a pass, because it's not something you can just do spur of the moment unless they make a big mistake. So you got to actually pick a corner on the track and be okay, next lap I'm going to get them there.
Wow, and it works on the video game too.
Oh yeah.
Well, since we're talking Supercross, the video game, why don't we just jump right back to actual racing and stuff? And I know, Vicki, you've been racing since you were 7. How did you get into that?
Family. My dad was diehard Honda 2-strokes growing up, and he wanted kids that would go racing. And I had an older brother that actually, ironically, like when we grew up, he wanted to like cut his fenders and do tricks, and Dad didn't have any of that. He was like, absolutely not. We're going racing, and we're going to look clean cut, and we're going racing, and that's all we're doing. Nothing else. So grew up racing my whole life from just pretty much my dad. That was it.
Now, it's interesting because I know at a pretty young age, you're racing dudes, right? And you're kind of mopping them up. How is that for all the young boys' dreams that you crushed out there?
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. There's still people that hold grudges.
It's I mean, growing up, it was like there wasn't like girls classes. There wasn't even like enough to like make a class. You needed at least like 5, and we had like maybe 2 growing up. So it was just pretty much me even like, you know, starting off in all kids boys classes. So got used to a lot of kids coming off the track behind me, and they're crying and their dad's yelling at them because they got beat by a girl. And it was I just from the get-go, it was a lot of disappointment around me for these young kids.
Wow.
And then go ahead,
It's an
bud.
expensive sport too, so I'm sure those dads were definitely probably like, you know, this maybe isn't for you guys.
Oh yeah,
The moto dads is a real thing.
They're pretty hardcore.
It's
Huh?
tossing
brutal.
$500 helmets, be like, I'm done. You can't win. We're not going back.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, maybe if you didn't put $500,000 into your son on a 50, it would allow them to have a little bit more fun.
Yeah. It's crazy.
What do you guys think? What do you think the key is to like make? Feel like a lot of kids like burn out because their parents are too hard on them.
110%.
Oh yeah.
Seems like the kids that didn't get that, like their parents are like, race, I'll have your back either way. Those guys seem to race longer.
No, absolutely. I mean, you've seen it more than none, but
like
it's so
even,
true.
Yeah, growing up, it was if you didn't do good, you got yelled at. And like my dad was never like that. It was a fun factor 100%. So it was just something that we could do to bond, you know, father, daughter, go to the races, go ride dirt bikes, go have fun. So we kept it on the fun side. And granted, did I, you know, put 100% in and try my best? And yeah, absolutely. But as long as we were having fun and I gave my best, whatever it was, if it's first, last, whatever, you know, that was the goal always. But now it's like you're on a 57 years old, and if you're not winning, your dad's screaming at you, and you're putting in laps, you're getting your brakes taken off, you're getting your seat taken off if you're sitting too much. So it's pretty aggressive nowadays, and I think that's pretty much the make or break because we help out like a lot of young kids, and we just tell the parents like, you got to let them have fun. It's a kid, you know, like that's the biggest deal breaker of them all. Like if you're already drilling them to do, you know, like full like boot camp style training at, you know, 10 years old, they're not going to go anywhere. It's like, it's not fun anymore.
No.
It's already a job and they haven't even, you know, they're not getting paid for it and you're making it a job for them. So like, where do you really think it's going to go at that point?
Totally. The thing I see at the track too is like parents yelling at their kids to hit the doubles and stuff or the big jumps. So just like, dude, the guy's like 8 years old, man. Like he doesn't.
And it's so
he's terrified. He doesn't have to, don't make him jump that. But I guess it works because they end up.
It's funny as shit though, because like so many times you'll have like the moto parents like freaking out at a kid for not doing a jump, and they can't even fucking ride a bicycle through the pits.
Yeah. We're like, why don't you go jump it first? Show them how to do it, and they're like, oh, okay, never mind.
They take their seats and their brakes off too.
Oh,
These
yeah.
little kids.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
so harsh.
I mean, I got a little bit of it. My dad would like, we couldn't afford a lot. We had like a lot of like local, what we call privateers that, you know, go racing on their own dime instead of being supported by like factory riders. So he would kind of like pay the privateers to kind of take me out. And I had one, we would go ride out in the hills, and we built a track out in the hills, and he like went into the garage to pick me up, and he like started going out to my rear brake, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, you don't know how to use the front brake, so you're not using the rear today. And I'm like, oh. And we're like going up and down all these big hills, and I'm just like terrified just using front brake that I've never used before and shifting down. And well, sure enough, I figured out how to use a front brake.
So it works, huh?
Oh yeah, it works.
It does. And like she like to this day will teach me like so much random stuff that you would never think of, like that, like how much pressure you can actually use on a front brake before you fully lock off and go over the bars.
Yeah.
Stuff like that like you forget, and then like it's just been so natural to her from that age because of stuff like that. It's kind of crazy to see how like stuff like that stick with you.
Yeah, good fundamentals, whether you're on a board or on a moto or whatever. If you learn it when you're a kid, it always sticks with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
One thing I want to run back to, I think it's interesting to talk about how you came up through the ranks in your race career and explaining like the women's classes and that type of stuff, especially for people that maybe don't understand how racing dirt bikes works and stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, there wasn't a women's class or a girls' class for, you know, younger kids growing up, and my dad was actually one to, like, fight and push for that. Like, I think we had, like, 3 or 4 like local girls that would go up and show up and race, and he was the one to like push for it and be like, hey, we've got at least a couple, like let's put a girls class on. So it kind of grew from there, and there's still a professional women's circuit going on, but I didn't enter that until I was like 17 I think, and that was just pretty much because I won Loretta Lynn's, which is like your prestigious amateur racing career stuff, and I won the women's class in that, and we were hoping to get some support to go racing in another year amateur racing, and didn't get any support, and we were really banking on that to be able to go racing for amateur stuff again, because it's all over the country. You're going to Texas, you're going to Tennessee, and when you're based in California, that's a lot of money to get there, and you got to spend a whole week there. So my dad was like, all right, well, if we can't get support to go be an amateur, we're just going to go pro because it's closer. We had 2 rounds in California, so I was like, all right, well, that's closer. Let's just do that. And that was pretty much how I turned women's professional, was just to go racing that way. But yeah, it was a short-lived career for women's racing. I wasn't too stoked on just the amount of competition. And it just like, we kind of talked about it at dinner the other night. It was just like the women just didn't really jive with me because I was the one to like pretty much just hit them with the truth. And a lot of them were like demanding more laps. But I'm like, but you can't even do the amount of laps that we're given because I'm already lapping you. So, and it wasn't just me. I was getting like 4th place. But if I'm getting 4th and I'm still lapping you because you're too tired to finish the race, why are you demanding more laps? And so I don't know. I didn't really jive with all the women too well because I was pretty much just truthful with them.
And then you ended up going and racing against all the dudes. Right. Yeah,
I basically just went back to my roots. I was like, well, I mean, this was fun while it lasted. And I like came in at like the peak of the women's events because they were getting TV time there on the same day as the men's pro national. So it was like the peak of that series. It kind of fell off pretty much after I left. But yeah, I just was like, well, if I'm not making this much money and I'm not having fun at the races, why am I here? So I decided to go race arena cross with the guys because I just had fun racing arena cross and that style of riding, and it was just cutthroat racing. So I was getting bar bangs it was like basically like how we played in video games. like this dude coming just straight over on you to take your line away and just T-bone you. I was like, that was what I was living.
That'd be me.
Yeah.
That's dope. And then, so I was looking, because I don't know much about the race career. I was looking at some stuff. So you were the first woman to make the night show in arena cross, right? And in Supercross? Yeah.
So like the way arena cross is like your stepping stone to Supercross. Yeah. It's in a smaller stadium. We're doing it in like hockey arenas and basketball arenas. So they're really tight, which is even pretty gnarly because now you're coming out of corners that are really, really tight, small, and everything's just peak. So you have to actually be on your A game because the proper arena cross was gnarly. They had whoops up to like your shoulders some weekends, and you're just like, you had no run in, and you're just like do or die every 20 seconds because that's how fast the laps go by. So I kind of went and raced that because that was your stepping stone to get there, and it was the best way for me to learn to go race Supercross is just have that track and be able to have that seat time. So I spent a lot of years racing arena cross, and it helped me a lot to go get gold medals at X Games because of the same style riding there. So I was just bar banging with the dudes, and then I'd show up to the women, and I actually sucked in the whoops. And I would get passed by dudes all day long in the whoops, and then I'd show up, and that was actually my strength against the women. And I like blitz the whoops no problem because they're pretty small and easy, and none of the other girls would even blitz them. So I was like, that's kind of weird. Like my strength my weakness just became my strength. But yeah, it was just like I rode arena cross for so long that I showed up to X Games to race like against the women, and it was like I was just like 7 seconds in my heat race faster, and no one was even near me. I was like, whoa, this is insane.
That's sick.
That's dope. And stacked up a bunch of X Games. That was when X Games used to have races and stuff, and yeah, that was fun watching that one where you barely squeaked in first, and the end was
Yeah,
awesome. I like watching that race.
I got lucky on that one. That's for sure.
Are there other women doing what you were doing, racing with the dudes in arenas and all that?
No, I was the
Just
only
you.
one. Yeah, for pretty much the whole time I did. I think there was like one other woman that showed up to try, but yeah, it's gnarly, especially like you see it on TV and you think the jumps are small, but when you like show up and like you're on the floor looking at all these things, you're like, oh man, this is
Terrifying.
huge.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It's similar when you go to a snowboard contest with slopestyle stuff. You're like, you see it on TV. You're like, I could do that, and then you actually go. You're like, these guys are going like jump speed at the
monstrous.
rails.
Yeah, the
Same
jumps
yeah.
are huge.
But actually, Moto's way gnarlier. Not to discredit that, but
Oh, but
still.
dude, you go to like a true like slopestyle course, and you're like, oh, look at that down bar, and it's like this. It's huge.
yeah, super tall.
Yeah, if you're not going super fast, like to get on it, you're catching the rail. It's like 6 feet high.
100%.
It's heavy.
Yeah, that's killer. Well, I want to get back into that stuff, Vicky, but I think we should run it back because Seth, he grew up snowboarding. Now, obviously, shreds a Harley, but I had no fucking idea when I met you guys like that you used to snowboard until I met him at Washougal. But yeah, what was it like growing up on the East and snowboarding and all that?
So yeah, like I grew up in Connecticut, which I mean, pretty close to where you are. And so Wachusett was like our local mountain.
Let's give him an air horn.
That's all right. I like that little East Coast, little donkey D.
Is that
Yeah,
your
shout out
same
to
local
Duncan.
mountain? What choose it?
Yeah, that's right
Oh,
where
wow.
I grew up. Yep.
Sick.
So like growing up, like I didn't really start snowboarding till probably I was like 13, 14. And then one of my homies in high school got me into it and took me, and like I grew up skateboarding, so I picked it up like right away. And all my buddies were bummed because like I would hit all this shit at the skate park on skateboarding. So once I got used to it with snowboarding, I was like, holy shit, the board stays with you. It's pretty easy to pop on the rails. And then I snowboarded for years, and like one of my best friends, Joel, he went to school in like where'd he go? Lyndonville, Vermont, I think.
Okay.
So I would have. It was good. So they had a mountain, Burke Mountain, and I used to go up there when I graduated high school, and I literally would sleep in his dorm. I would take his roommate's season pass, and I would snowboard there all the time. But I met so many. It's just crazy because like when I started snowboarding, like I wanted to be a professional snowboarder. Like I was set on that. I would go and try to do all the rail jams. I would try to do all the contests. Like I would see like Rigo was like one of the kids on the East Coast that I remember like seeing his YouTube videos.
Got to give Rigo air horn. But
Oh,
yeah,
he's
keep
a
going.
G. And like I literally would watch his YouTube videos, and he would be like, back in the day, he'd be getting like ice from the ice rink, and he'd be he'd be hitting a corrugated tube in his yard, and I was like, I want to do this.
Yeah, we'll throw the footage on the screen for those who are watching on YouTube. But Seth started showing me footage, buds. This guy, he's a fucking certified problem out there on the steel. He's a problem on the steel. We're talking, back ones on.
Really?
Yeah, dude, he was absolutely beating down this corrugated he had in his backyard.
Because you saw Rigo do it.
110%.
That's so
And then I was
sick.
like, dude, this kid, like just his style and how like, I was just like, this kid's a G. I'm like,
Rigo's pretty damn good.
oh, he's a bad dude. And
Yeah.
I always hit him up all the time. I'm like, you have the sickest style. Like still watch all of his shit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's trippy. But
Can we talk about the fit you were running?
oh, dude, I was always tight pants.
Oh, really?
110%. I'd be like, yeah, these are too big. I can't. I felt like Sinbad out there in pants, dude.
The tighter the better, huh?
We call it the Aladdin fit when they get really big.
Yeah.
Those Aladdin pants, the Sinbad fit.
Oh, dude, they're full blown Aladdin. If you catch a cross breeze, you're off. Dude.
Trash bag. It's like 2 trash bags for your pants.
Yeah, there's some new ones out this season that are huge.
Oh, they're heavy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would always I would buy my pants because and they would never make like good like slim fit pants. They were either I was never I couldn't wear like a chick pair of snowboard pants. I'm like, I still got to at least buy a guy one. So then I'd just sew them up.
You sewed them yourself.
Oh yeah.
Buds, I don't know if you know, Eastone started Tech9, the company Tech9. He's the founder of it.
No shit.
But so they're the biggest. They make the baggiest.
Yeah,
stuff.
we were making the baggy
And so
pants.
there used to be almost like a tight pants, baggy pants beat.
110%.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like if you had baggy pants, your stance was as far as it would go. And then when I started spending a lot of time in Vermont, it was just like I was the only one in the slope. I'd be tight pants, hoodie, and then everyone else was like the gnarliest wide stance, 15 5X shirts, and they would be like longest, and they'd be like a
Stagger 'em.
there'd be a rainbow row of shirts, and then I would just get bagged on for my pants, and so I'd have to like just show up and try stuff.
Those are probably all the Lucas Magoon followers in Vermont wearing those crazy clothes. That's awesome.
For sure. But dude, it's like that whole Vermont crew is like some of the raddest kids I've met growing up. Like they were just always like, they were just down for a good time, and they like were snowboarding specifically because like they liked it. Like that's what they wanted to do. Like they did it for fun. Like no, like there were some kids that were so gnarly that I met like in the Vermont area of snowboarding, and they just did it for the fun of it. They could care less about ever stacking clips, and like none of them were ever filming. They were just doing hot laps through the park just because they loved doing it.
Yeah, there's a lot of rippers from VT.
Everybody knows Vermont has the best mountains in the east, so that's why there's so many good rippers from Vermont, huh, Chris?
No comment. So
this is a heated debate.
Yeah, that's. I'd like to agree to disagree on that one. I mean, we can get into it, but Massachusetts, it's like the amount of jerseys in the rafters from Massachusetts, it's like a fucking all-star game.
There's something in the water.
There's some in the water there. You mean Todd Richards?
You guys all
Big
go to
Mountain,
Vermont,
Jeremy Jones,
right?
Scott Stevens.
That's where Todd cut his teeth, was in Vermont.
Actually, Wachusett. He's from Wachusett area, so it's not about where you go; it's about where you're from. So let's stay on target here, buds. But what I'd like to do though is I'm curious about how you went from Seth, the like tight pants, corrugated god, ripping front flips, to Harley wheelie guy, Seth.
So like I pretty much like I was saying, like I literally was like, I'm gonna make a living snowboarding. And then one winter I was sitting at home because I did construction growing up. So I would pour concrete, do like stone walls, shit like that. And then I would get laid off during the winter. So I would always travel and snowboard and do that kind of stuff. And then one year I'm sitting like one of my buddies sends me a YouTube link of these dudes from California doing wheelies on Harleys. And I was like, what the fuck? That's the sickest shit I've ever seen. I'm like, nobody rides these like huge bikes like that. And like, I grew up riding and racing. And so I like came from like kind of dirt bikes and stuff like that. But then when I seen these guys riding them like that, I was like, it tripped me out. So my dad always had Harley. So I've always been around it. And like, I think my dad had one when I was like 14 and he used to let me rip it. So I was just ripping around the streets of Connecticut, like 15 on the Harley. So like that winter, I was like, Dad, I have to get one. So I found one, bought it, and I like messaged these dudes on Instagram. I was like, hey, what do you got done to these bikes? And they were like, they told me like how they ride them. So then that like winter I snowboarded, did all my shit. And then summertime came around and I like finally got a smartphone, finally got an Instagram, and I started ripping the Harley. And like at that time there was like two dudes. They were all from California, and they like 2 or 3 guys, and they were like hitting their fender like full 12 o'clock on them. And then I finally figured out how to ride them and wheelie them. So I posted a clip of me dragging fender, and like I blew my taillight off, like sparks were flying. And then I woke up the next day, and like I posted on Instagram, woke up the next day. And then I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, why do I have all these followers all of a sudden? I'm like, I had like 2 yesterday. So I'm like scrolling. Then one of my buddies is like, dude, I can't believe you got shouted out from unknown. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, no way. And sure as shit, like the dudes that I was hitting up like a couple months before about what they had to do their bikes, like they hit me up and they're like, dude, what the fuck? That's so sick. Like, where are you from? So I instantly started like talking to them about like how they do it and like what they do. And then that kind of like that, they were like, you got to come out to California and meet us and ride with us and kind of like, you know, cause like there's no one else out there doing that shit. And you're going to complete as far east as you can go. So then that summer I worked, saved a bunch of money, bought a hammered ass fucking Ford van for like $800, went through it, worked on it, loaded up my Harley and drove across the country. And I slept on this dude's couch that I met on Instagram for like 3 months. And that's kind of how I got the whole introduction to like the Harley world and like everything in California. And I just remember like I was driving out there. I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, I'll just sleep in my van in your driveway. And he's like, the fuck you mean? He's like, we don't have driveways out here. And I was like, what the fuck? Where am I going? And like, you know how it is. Like you're on the East Coast, dude. And like you live in small town politics. Like you go to a coffee shop and they have your coffee waiting for you. Mm-hmm. So like for me to drive into California, never experiencing it, I was like mind-boggling.
How old are you at this point?
24, 23.
24, sick. Amazing. And then also there's something you mentioned briefly earlier too about like I feel like you a lot of people from the East Coast have a good work ethic. And do you feel like you said you work construction, you did concrete. Do you feel like that helped you with just like applying yourself to like, I'm going to fucking
110%.
make it million Harleys? Yeah.
110%. Cause like as soon as like I made that connection And I seen like the rise of like they started making money for a living doing it. And I was like, this is what I'm going to fucking do. I'm like, it's on my plate. So I I would work like 612s. I would literally like 612s, pocket my money. And then I bought the van, worked on it myself. Cause like my dad literally you could give him anything and he'd fix it. Mm-hmm. He's the type of person who would rather pay somebody to fix something he messed up than for him to not try it himself.
Right. Yep.
And like, I'm the same way. Like you ask her, like I fucking can't stand paying people to do stuff. But it was like, and then like I said, like that winter, I like packed up, got my pink slip, pinned it, slept on the couch, and then like that year we filmed, made a relationship, and then I was like, hey, I'm out, I gotta go back home and work. So I literally left, and like my boss called me and he's like, hey, like I gotta, like if you want, like we're going back to work next week. So I'm like, fuck. So I loaded up the van, drove all the way back across the country, and then I was back to work. And then that summer, I think they hit me up and they're like, hey, we have a Supercross show in Gillette.
Gillette, yep.
So they're like, do you want to come and do it? It's close to your house. And I was like, sure. So then that was one of my first shows I did with them. And then actually, no, it was right before that, they had a show at Boston Harley. And they called me and they're like, hey, you want to come up with your bike? And like after that, we can go film and ride in the streets. And I went up there and unloaded my bike and everything. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, when you guys are done with the shows, let's go ride. And they're like, no, fuck that. You're riding in the show with us. And that was like my first introduction to like, dude, I've done rail jams and stuff like that where there's like a couple people watching you. But when there's like a stacked crowd with barriers and you have a 700-pound bike getting ready to
explain
fly
what you
through.
do in a show for the people that are like, what the fuck's he talking about doing a show? Because, yeah, what do you do in a Harley show?
So pretty much like you just like obviously like I do like wheelies, burnouts and stuff like you wouldn't normally do on the motorcycle. Like 90% of like your Harley buyers and the population of them like buy them for cruising. And then we like build them is like kind of build them to beat them. Like we wheelie, we burn out, we drift them. And it's just kind of like you just do stuff to amp up the fans. Like you do things on them that you normally wouldn't see. Like we're wheeling them, we're doing donuts, we're drifting them. We'll do cone races. So like we're battling, like banging bars just like we do on Moto, but we're on 700-pound motorcycles. So it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it's scary. Like wheeling a pit bike is extremely difficult. And you guys are on these machines where it's like if you get up and you wheelie over, you're getting crushed by a fucking car, basically.
Oh, they're gnarly, and they're so heavy and just so different than like everything else you've rode because nothing about the bike is designed to do what you want to do on it. Like they're not weighted right. Yeah. They're not like everything on it hates what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. And they're like a rigid crash too. Like you see like motocross crashes or like anything else, like they kind of like hit and they still have like forward momentum. I feel like on a Harley, everything just stops and it's just
everything
the most
breaks.
rigid crash you ever see.
Yeah, talking about crashes, what was you were talking about one where you ran out of gas. What happened there?
Yeah, I was like fully like posted 12 o'clock, like dragging the fender, and I went to go pull the clutch into coast, and I spaced it, and I was too low on gas, so the thing fully ran out of gas. And when like I let the clutch out, it just ripped out from underneath my hands, and I kind of like flat backed it, landed on the street, and just watched my Harley just like landed on both wheels, and just kind of kept cruising down the road, and just went in the gutter and tipped over.
Oh my god!
Nothing happened though.
That was at a show?
No, that was actually we were just filming in the streets, but I have crashed during a show.
Oh yeah, what happens when you crash during a show? I want to hear about this.
It's fucking awful.
So what, wheelie over or what?
It was like the last clip of the weekend. We did shows Saturday, we did shows Sunday, and the shows were done, but they were like, hey, we want to get one more clip. We want you guys wheeling through the freestyle ramp. So like they had like people jumping the 75, and then we were going to wheelie like through the middle. But like we never wheelied that way the whole entire like shows. And there was like a drainage ditch in the middle. So the whole parking lot was pitched for the water to go in. So I'm on the right. So I pick it up and I start wheeling, and I'm yanking it, trying to pull it to kind of like get my bike to go right. And as I look left, there's like my buddy Cade, who we were doing shows with, is like parked just like on his fender. And I'm like, oh fuck, I'm going to hit him. So I slammed the back brake, come down. I just hit the back of Cade. He doesn't even know that I hit him, but like Buddy and Nick are behind me in the show. So I hit Cade, and I'm like, I try to save it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to save it. I'm not putting it down. And sure as shit, like, dude, I slam the ground. Like my finger gets like stuck underneath the clutch lever, just like grinds the meat off of it. I hit my face. God. But like I hit the ground, and I literally literally picked the bike back up in 2 seconds to make. I was like, oh God, I don't want anyone knowing I crashed. And everyone's like, dude, are you good? Are you good? I'm like, fuck, I was just so embarrassed. I was just like, I didn't even care what was wrong with me at that point, but I was like, fuck, are you kidding me? But luckily, I don't think a lot of people seen it. I think the landing ramp. I think the landing ramp saved me.
Oh yeah, you're hidden behind the landing ramp.
Oh, dude, it was like it was absolutely best case scenario for a crash.
And then also speaking of shows too, we were just at Supercross and Vicki was doing a show hitting basically the dirt bikers. They hit a 75-foot gap. It's a ramp off of a fucking metal ramp into a inflatable.
I saw that
portable
on your,
landing.
Graham.
Yeah, yeah. How is it doing the shows on the dirt bikes, Vicki?
Dude, it's fun. I mean, it's a little tough here at elevation. Your 450 feels like you're riding basically half the power. It feels like a turd out there, and you're just like, oh man, like we pushed the ramp in a little bit just to help it. And not to mention, we have like parking lots are all different. So with this one, we had a huge uphill, and we're just like, okay, we're down on power. We pushed the ramp in. Now we have a big uphill. And we're like, all right, let's see how it goes. And that's pretty much what you just kind of hope and see how it goes and see where you land the first one. But it's been pretty good so far. I mean, you get to ride your dirt bike in front of a bunch of people and have fun with all your friends. I mean, you can't really ask for much more than that.
What's up with the landings? I've never seen those before. That they're just they're all soft now.
Yeah, big bounce
But you
house.
can still land on.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just kind of going that direction. I mean, yeah, it's a little safer for us. I mean, normally we ride like scaff landings, which is just like, or like something like a trailer you pull and then you fold the wings out to make it a little wider.
They're rigid.
They're really rigid. And then you go from the transition from the landing ramp into the street is also rigid. So it's just like if you're doing a lot of shows, it just takes the toll on your joints. So
it just feels way better.
Yeah, it's just the bags are just like, it's just easier for us, especially like I said, if we did Daytona Bike Week, which is 8 days in a row. And it's like 3 shows a day. So it just like kind of helps the body. And we've had like bad crashes where like we've had Bilko fall out upside down. And if he was on a portable, he probably would have been dead.
Wow.
So
last year in Salt Lake, he did.
This time last year.
Oh, no way.
He was doing a knack flip. And so you take one leg off upside down and kick it over the other side. And as he came back to swing his leg back over, his leg that was locked in slipped out. So he was pretty much out from under his bike. Upside down, and that bag saved his life.
Damn.
Oh my god!
So as long as you get the bike,
he
away,
wasn't there
it's
this year.
soft.
I noticed, huh?
Yeah, he's in Australia right now.
Oh, yes, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but it'll save your life too. So it's kind of a good and bad scenario. We kind of are dealing with now. We call them bag babies that can't do anything except a bag. So like we definitely like make a stamp that like we use them, but we don't abuse them either. So like if you can't do it to dirt, it doesn't count type thing, you know. So we have a lot of like
sticklers.
We have like we call them bag babies.
You don't want to be a bag baby.
Baby.
They're basically they were designed to learn on and be a good stepping stone to dirt. Now we're bringing them to shows just because it's easier for load in and things like that. And like I said, longevity. But yeah, don't get it twisted that we don't use them just because we can't do it to dirt either.
That makes sense.
You know, it's interesting in snowboarding. There's a generation. Our generation is you learned everything to snow because
and there wasn't bags.
Then they started getting the inflatable. There's bag babies in snowboarding too. When I think about it too, because there's kids that practice all summer into an airbag. And they can go like dead straight on like a bristle takeoff and chuck. I mean, I seen a 2200 or whatever the hell they're up to.
That's mental.
But crazy. Then they might not. The thing is like they might not be able to rip the mountain the way that you can just go straight off of a jump. Hence a bag baby kind of.
Yeah. We have freestyle riders that can only pretty much just point and shoot and do the trick. And then you get them anywhere else. You're like, oh God, this guy's going to die. But
that's crazy.
But I mean, we just have those types of riders, but at all levels too. Like professional ones, you see them like anywhere else or like they get squirrely after or before and you're like, oh God, they're not going to make it. But like that's, I guess, like I'm stoked because like all my friends come from like actual like riding and racing backgrounds, so we never really fall into that category, thankfully.
Totally. You know what I was thinking when I was watching you guys yesterday? Because I was watching the Harley guys do wheelies, and I'm like, this is fucking awesome. And then I'm watching you guys do just big ass whips on, and I'm just like, motorcycles kick ass. Like I just had this epiphany. Like watching,
they're rad.
It's like anybody walking by can appreciate it. People walk like, you know, Gary from Indiana is like, oh, look at that, you know?
Yeah, everyone enjoys watching that happen.
Oh, absolutely. They're loud, obnoxious in your face. It's perfect.
Oh yeah, and I mean, like getting like we say it all the time, like what you see on TV, no matter what sport it is, like you watch it on TV, but if you get to see it live, it's a completely different like experience to be able to see it live and like up close and personal and not through a screen. It's completely different.
Puts everything into perspective.
Yeah.
100%.
Like 75 is huge. Like what they jump, it's like, it's funny. Like you hit 75 on a track on a dirt bike and you're like, oh, it's super mellow. But for some odd reason, like when you take away all the shit in the middle, you're like, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
a little
just
bit
put it in the
big.
street and you're like, oh, that's kind of big.
Yeah, with asphalt.
Well, it's also
around you.
it's a steep takeoff compared to that. I feel like the tracks are like
mellow,
more border crossy.
How many of these shows you guys do a year?
It kind of depends. I'm thankfully like I have a good relationship with Monsters, so they have me at a lot of different shows and different events. So I'll do a lot with them. Do Supercross. We did Bike Week last year. We did like Loretta Lynn's Amateur National. So we kind of got sent all over and doing like a lot of cool different stuff. This year I think I'm set to do like Monster contracts. This guy named Keith Sayers, and he does like a lot of like other shows too, but Monster contracts him because he owns the ramp and the landing. So he's kind of been hitting me up to go do other stuff too now. So I've got like some event in Miami we're going to do on the beach, which is pretty cool.
That'll be sick.
We're going to do an F1 race in Canada. So like he's kind of setting me up to do some other cool events too as well. So it's not just strictly for Monsters. So I kind of get to go a little bit of everywhere. I think we're going to do MX of Nations later this year, which is like the biggest
Where
deal.
is that?
It's at Redbud.
Is that Redbud this year?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think you need to go.
I have friends that are going.
Yeah,
and,
you might need to go.
Yeah.
you should.
Get a chainsaw maybe. And
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No choice.
Yeah.
If it's that,
Yeah.
you
Might
need a
have,
chainsaw.
yeah. Freaking A. Redbud. Okay. Add that to the calendar. Yeah.
Oh,
That'll be sick.
Stamp that one. You're going.
Totally.
Chris's calendar for the bomb hole is just every other week, like
It's
some sort of
depleting.
race going
Yeah.
on that he's going to.
I know. He's
I'm
like
looking
the
through, like, what's
gnarliest
going
racer
on?
I've ever met that's more committed to this sport than most racers
Yeah.
I've met.
You are. It's pure dedication.
Well, the best is I buy parts for my dirt bike and it's like, do I need an ECU? Yep. Add to cart. It's like, no, dude, you need to learn how to fucking corner.
Yeah, but dude, like, it's hard to look good, and you look great.
Dude, going
Oh, yeah.
straight. Yeah. So it's called look fast, go slow. That's
Oh,
our
yeah.
motto here.
We have it at home. We say style never dies, and I'm like, thank God for that, because if it wasn't, we wouldn't have a job either.
Seriously.
Well, it's cool how we actually met. I never knew either of you guys. I mean, I knew who you guys were, but we were in Washougal, which is a track in Washington, and I was sitting there in my staging area before practice for one of the races, and you guys just happened to be right next to us, and Seth started talking. He's like, "Oh, you snowboard? I used to snowboard," and then we met through dirt bikes, which is cool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Seth
we-
was like a big fangirl. He's like, Vicki, you don't understand.
I was like, you don't understand
you knew who he
that
was.
is. Oh yeah.
Okay.
And like I've known who you are for like forever. I knew you grew up like freaking an hour from me and like same like area and shit. And like I've followed you for years in snowboarding, and like that's what trips me out. Like coming here and seeing all these pictures on the wall. It's like I fucking remember every single one of these moments, because like snowboarding was my like that was it. Like I was like, this is what I want to do. And then I think it's funny as shit because I meet you like 15 years after
At a motocross
at a
track.
motocross track.
And I'm like, why is there a snowboarder riding that? I don't get it. And he's like, he really likes it.
I know. And you would
Just pursuing my career in my mid-30s. Just really good time. I think it's going to take off. Yeah.
that's when your fitness peaks.
Yeah.
Don't listen to what they say.
Look at Ken Block, man.
yeah.
He made a career
Yeah,
so late.
yeah.
Could be you, dog.
Yeah, I think if I can move up out of C to B, A, I should be in Supercross. Let me see. Yeah, I should be
You're
racing.
540.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey,
that's not
Twitch
bad.
Twitch had a big midlife crisis. Last year?
Yeah.
Last year, had a big midlife crisis, and he was like,
Bought a camper.
Yeah, he
started
bought
racing.
a huge trailer and went to go camping. And like we were like doing 2-stroke national. And he's like, "Oh, we're going."
Yeah, he got a trophy and he
Yeah.
was just fired.
And I'm like, dude, you have like what 17, 18 gold medals, and Like, I was like, don't you have enough trophies? He's like, yeah, but this one has a piston on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Dude, that's the thing she said to me. I missed I think I missed the 12th place trophy in Washougal by one. I got it
By
went
one
to
spot?
it went to 11, and the trophies went to 11 because they take 30% or 33% or whatever of people, and so I was just outside the trophy thing, and I was like, fuck, I didn't get a trophy. God damn it, I got 12th. And Vicky's like, who wants a 11th place trophy? I'm like, I do.
Just thinking
I
that. I was like, they
Hey.
get trophies for 11th place.
That trophy
deep.
has a dirt bike on
Yeah,
it, not a
exactly.
snowboard.
Wow.
I got a 6th right now. I got a 6th from a Grand Prix, and I am happier with that than an X Games gold medal. I'll tell you that right now. The 6th
We
place is
already
on the
got that,
mantle.
so
The
yeah.
X Games is in the fucking corner.
Yeah.
You know,
You
Who
don't
gives a shit?
understand the work that's gotten put into this.
His X
What
Games
amount of
medal's
money,
all
the
broken
work.
in his garage.
Yeah, I has
Yeah,
no idea
racing
where
ain't
it
cheap.
even is.
Yeah.
So you got to take all this money from the bomb hole. It goes to the racing career. So
Yeah.
Look
gotta
at-
keep supporting
Chris is
that.
like looking the part. You guys all have the same sleeves on your
yeah,
outfits.
well, I'm
like,
stealing it from.
checkered.
This is a FastHouse
you guys
ripoff.
just
but no-
you're going fast.
Yeah, you look fast,
You
Dan.
go,
Still,
yeah, you go checkered flag. Everybody's like, "Oh, that guy must be fast.
yeah. That dude's got a dirt bike for sure.
Well, it's talking about training hard though. One thing I thought was interesting when you were talking about pursuing your racing career. You were saying you got like sick basically from like, pushing it. These guys like train so fucking hard.
Yeah, so like that year too, it was like we kind of talked about it off the show, but it was like Epstein Bar was like what we thought in the industry of like your go-to excuse if you like weren't riding as good as you thought you were, and it was just like, oh, I have Epstein Bar, and they'd go away for a while, and then
What's Epstein Bar?
It's basically it's like
myself?
a lot of people. It's like a form of mono, which is what
Oh.
you get as a kid, and pretty much in school they call it the kissing disease.
Yeah.
But basically, Epstein Bar is like a form of that. It's basically like overtraining syndrome, is what it comes down to, and it's an autoimmune disorder. But basically, I was my own mechanic at the time. My mechanic that I got was so bad that I just was like, I'll do it myself.
Wow.
And so I did all that, and then I was training. I was doing, racing on the weekends, and then still going to the gym, putting in my laps, like everything. And I was telling him my schedule was like I'd fly, or Monday was a training day, Tuesday was a training day, Wednesday I'd fly to the East Coast, then Thursday and Friday I'd wake up at like 3 a.m., do press until pretty much the sun went down, and then Friday we'd do a little bit more press, tech inspection, and then Saturday would be racing all day, and then Sunday I'd fly home back to California. So I never even had a rest day, and I was just like pinned 24/7.
How long did you keep that up for?
The racing series is like 18 weekends long.
Wow.
And about halfway through, I was just like, I was not feeling good, and then I was not getting the results I wanted. And then I was like pissed off. I'm like, fuck, I didn't get what I wanted. I'm working harder now. And that's like the opposite of what you need to do. And you're just fired up and you're like, nothing's working. And I was just like, at that time, it was like, that was the year Tyler Bowers and Cooper Webb were like battling for the 250F West Coast Championship. And Tyler had it too. And we have the same doctor, and he was like, dude, I think you have what Tyler has. And so sure enough, I got checked and got my blood work done, and I had like the gnarliest numbers that they stopped counting at like 700 or something, and they're like, just like, you maxed out. And that's what me and Tyler had, and I just like lost like 30 pounds, couldn't even race. And like we basically, how you qualify in for Supercross is you do one fast lap, and whatever your lap times is they kind of rank it by that. So I only had to put a minute of my life together to do it, and I was just like 20 seconds in, I'm like fighting not to throw up. I'm just dying. And I'm just like, I got to put a minute together. And just like, that was just like my life on Saturdays, was just trying to put my life together for 1 minute. And most of the time I couldn't do it.
Wow. And
But
it's just overtraining.
Yeah, and it just ruins you pretty much. And then they say it's like a career ending in like illness basically, and you can't really like fully get rid of it. It's just something you learn to deal with, and you just have like flare-ups basically where you just feel completely run down and you can't do pretty much anything. You deal with like a lot of brain fog, and you just couldn't focus. And I was like going to practice tracks during the week that I've put, hundreds and hundreds of laps in, and I'd like come up to the face of something and be like, I don't even remember what's on the other side. And like, I was just like, I can't even ride right now. So it pretty much like ruined my racing career. And that's like where my transition into freestyle came, because I was like, well, freestyle, you have to do one jump, and then you just turn around and cruise, and then you just turn and do one more jump. So it was like a little less physically demanding than racing is. So that's basically what transitioned into my freestyle career was I got too sick to go racing.
And you like freestyle better now anyways?
Yes and no.
You miss racing?
I still miss racing, but then there's those Supercross tracks. Yeah, there's those Supercross tracks, though, that I'm just like, I look at them like, oh, dude, I could do that one. That one looks fun. And then I see other ones where they do, like, the gnarliest sections and the biggest set of whoops. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. So like, it's a give and take.
You just go to places like Washougal and mop these guys up and feel good. And
yeah.
Well, luckily we don't race the same class. So.
You were saying how she beat your time and all that, and she was like the fastest one there or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ripping holies. Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
It's heavy.
Yeah,
I deal with it on the daily.
Well, we raced on a team, and we went to Day in the Dirt.
Oh, yeah. We were bossing over.
Yeah.
Destroyers.
Us three was a team of three.
Oh, you guys were a team.
Yeah.
3-man team. All of us on track at once.
Nice.
Yeah.
And when they called, I think Seth was like, hey, do you want to race with me and Vicki? And I was like, have you ever seen me ride a dirt bike before? You know I'm not very good.
I called you. I was like, dude, do you want to be me and Vicki's partner? And you're just like, yeah, I'm so down, but I got you've seen me ride.
He was so confused. He's like, why are you asking me?
Yeah, you're like, I don't want you to be expecting too much.
Seth, so Vicki will make up for your time. Don't worry about it.
Vicki will make up for both of us.
She mopped the floor with both of ours. But you ride a broken.
Yeah, first lap, and it's a 30-minute moto on, and the track we're at, it has a lot of ups and down hills, like really steep hills. So like brakes are a big necessity.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. So I was just like, the one race where I would have been like, okay, well, the brake is completely gone. Can't use it. And I can't even have like a full foot peg where I stand because the brake has bent so far over that if I take my foot like and move it at all, I'm like slamming on the brake because of how it's bent up. So I was like, man, I would really love to not do this race and pull off. And that's the one race I have two teammates that are like just going balls to the walls for 30 minutes.
Can't let these guys
and I'm like,
down,
I can't do that. So I just literally like was battling with people. I'd pass them and then they just blow by me down the downhill. I'm like, I gotta pass them again. And even then, if you get into a sketchy situation, you lock up the rear brake, and I just didn't have that, and I'm just shifting down and just on the back on full front brake. And I'm just like, I can't let my teammates down.
But dude, like the gnarliest thing ever though is you literally had a race right before that. So like Chris went out for like 30 minutes and he literally like our team race was back.
We were on the line waiting
on
for
the
him.
line.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, we're on the line. He comes in like weathered, like it's gnarly track. And I just remember he's just like, I'm just gonna get some water and put fuel, and he's back on the track. And I'm like, dude, this guy's a trooper.
Savage.
It was a good time, but Vicki, you could have literally pulled over for like 5 minutes. Like you could have probably fixed your entire brake lever, got back on the track. You still would have had a better time.
But dude, there was some heart in that one.
It's so fun.
It was funny though, because I was like battling with some of my friends, and we have like not a lot of people know, but you know Wanky.
Yep.
And so like he was out there, and I was battling with him, and he was just struggling so bad. And he came off, he's like, we were battling so good. And I'm like, dude, I don't have a rear brake. And he's like, oh. So bummed.
Wanky's one of the most legendary people. Like, if there's somebody who's just like jacked on life 24/7, like
it's that guy.
It's like he's like an addiction to be around. Like you're around him and you're instantly just happier.
Dude, fresh and clean too. His gear's always looking like.
Yeah.
Oh, that's his motto is style never dies.
Yeah. My fun thing to do with him, like when we have shows, he'll get all geared up, and it's a process. You got a lot of stuff to put on. And like he gets fully geared up, and I'm like, oh, Wanky, are you gonna wear that? And he's like, what, you don't like it?
Oh, look like shit, Wanky.
And then he'll go change.
Crisis.
And then I'll like nitpick with him after, and like he'll change his pants, his jersey, and then I'm just like, dude, that jersey, you think? And he's like, you know? And I'm like, yeah, you should. No, this one. And I just see how many times I can get him to change.
And he will. He'll
he'll do it
continue
all
to
the
keep
time.
changing.
It's good to know kit crisis is a universal thing.
it's
'Cause that
universal.
we experience that in snowboarding too.
Oh, it's
It's
bad.
everywhere.
Kit crisis.
Yeah, with Twitch, I think back when he was with Shift, he wore like a lighter gray set of gear one day. And I was like, dude, light gear, or that gear, like the gray, I'm like, kind of makes you look fat.
I don't think he's never worn gray.
He's never worn gray since that day.
Just getting in these guys'
Oh,
heads
I love
out there.
it.
Huh?
They're all about style, so I just love to mess with them.
Yeah,
If it doesn't match, it doesn't look right, I'm like, oh, I'll let them know.
Let them know.
Oh, yeah.
But Twitch has always had like the sickest bikes and gear. Kind of like his bike builds are always like next level. And like fortunate enough that like our homie that builds his bikes is like we all like became friends with him. So when we're like, hey, we need some bike stuff done, our homie Rob's like, oh, I got you guys.
Rob Dog kills it. Best builds. But it's even like I tried to get Jeremy to ride before the show this weekend, and he was like, no, I don't have graphics for my bike. And I'm and I was like, oh yeah, because the bike doesn't start if it doesn't match your kit. I'm just like, dude, come on, you can't even ride a stock bike with no graphics. He's like, no, I can't do it.
I can back that.
Oh, that's commitment.
They say if you look good, you feel good, you play good, they pay good. You know,
I like that.
Yeah.
And that's, look good, feel good. All right, we're going to take a quick break and talk to you guys about Bubs Naturals. Now, what is Bubs Naturals? So they're a company that makes all kinds of products, but the one that I like the best is their collagen protein powder. Now, I like to take this, mix it in a smoothie. I take 2 scoops, throw it in a smoothie with some blueberries, banana, almond butter, some chia seeds, some oat milk. Mix it all up. You got yourself a great smoothie. And the thing that's great about it, with 2 scoops of collagen in there, you get 20 grams of protein. And as you get older, your body kind of loses its ability to synthesize this protein. So you got to get it in the system if you want to keep snowboarding when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. If you want to be 110 and still be able to make twist or just turn down the hill for that matter, you got to take care of your body. So that's what's cool about Bubs. It's a company that comes from the world of snowboarding. So, snowboarders for snowboarders here. And you're supporting a great brand. 10% of all of their profits go to charity. So if you want to take care of your body, head on over to bubsnaturals.com. Use promo code BOMBHOLE for 20% off. Again, bubsnaturals.com, promo code BOMBHOLE for 20% off. I usually go through about 2 of these jugs a month if you're getting a lot down the gullet. So again, bubsnaturals.com, promo code BOMBHOLE. All right, we're going to get into a guest question from none other than Tyler Bierman, friend of the show. This one's for Vicki.
Oh, this could be dangerous.
Here we go.
What's up, Bombhole? TB here. Got another question for Vicki Golden, the Golden Girl herself. Vicki, first off, you're a living legend. It's pretty rad to see what you've done in a predominantly male sport, and it's really rad to see. You put it to the boys all the time. So, couple questions. I just want to know, what's the thought process like of, an event like Imagination, where you're overcoming the fear of new jumps and the unknown and basically a male-driven sport? What's that like to kind of put yourself in the mix with the boys and face your fears and overcome them? Appreciate it.
TB.
We'll give him an air horn, too.
Oh, he deserves
it.
He deserves the biggest air horn.
Oh, yeah.
We can give him the super air horn.
Oh,
I got a super.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh.
Obnoxious. All right.
Just keeps going.
You remember the question?
Yeah, I do. The earth horn. I was just so excited I didn't even remember the question. No, it's kind of ironic because Tyler asking the question, but I rely on people like Tyler because I get to ride with those dudes every day, and thankfully I'm in a situation where I am surrounded with the best of the best, and I ride with them every day. So I hold myself to their standards. So if I see Tyler jump something, I'm like, okay, I can do that. And so I just kind of rely on him because that's the only way. I know I can do it, but I might need that little extra from my friends, and that's kind of where it comes in, where I'm like, okay, well, Tyler hits it like this, and if Tyler is one of the riders who goes super slow at something, so I kind of look at him and I base it off him because I ride with him the most. And I'm just like, okay, well, the way he hits it, I ride a little bit differently. So I kind of calculate that difference in my head. And that way I'm like, okay, well, when he gasses it, I already need to be on the gas kind of thing because he comes in slow and just dumps it. And I like to carry a little bit more speed. So just having that relationship of like timing, especially when it's all these do or die jumps, you need that. And I just don't quite have like, all right, I'm just going to jump it by myself. I need a little bit of assistance to like see how they're jumping it. And then I'm like, okay, I got it. So I kind of just, I rely on them. And like the more I get to ride with them, the better I feel, because I'm always pushing to keep up with them, because they're never ending, especially when you get like Tyler and Axel together. It's like the amount of progression they go, like if you don't just latch onto them, you fall behind. So like I just know that I'm like, as soon as they go, I'm going too, because if I don't, they take off and you'll never be able to catch up to them. So
Once
that's
you
just
get that mojo flying.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy.
Amazing. And to put in perspective, the Red Bull imagination is if for snowboarders listening, would be like taking a slope style course and then everything's on steroids.
It's like Super Park.
It's like a Super Park run all the way down. And she was there with Cole Seeley, Sipes. I don't remember who else was there.
Raha, Durham.
All these gnarly guys. And Vicki was hitting the jumps before all the dudes besides Tyler, pretty much. So it would be, you know, like it would be like some of the top female like Jamie Anderson or something going before all the guys at Super Park. You know, it's fucking gnarly. It's like, it's really, really like, and that's just kind of, I guess I'm curious too, is just like knowing like, how are you like, okay, I'm hitting this, you know, like just like you said earlier? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it's gnarly though. I mean, it's just one of those things where I was just like, you're surrounded by the best of the best on a dirt bike, and they're looking at stuff completely terrified. I'm like, well, what does that mean for me? I feel like I'm like the, you know, the lone wolf, like the outcast of like, oh, I'm like, all right, like I'm here probably like for a more like media based thing sometimes, you know, for like being the only female. And so like, I always think like, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm here because I'm a girl. Like I want to be here because I'm the best. So I just like, but I'm still surrounded by the best. So when they're like terrified and like not sure about something that they're like amazing at, I'm like, oh boy. Like, I was just like, I was so terrified at that point that I was just like, I can't sit here. Like I got to just do it. And I like have like a 1, 2, 3 go, as stupid as it sounds, but I'm like, I'm all right. I'm going to take like 2 runs in, and then third, I do not have a choice. I'm going. And that was just kind of like my thing. And like, I was even more terrified, so I like kind of pushed that 1, 2, 3 go and just go, because I was just so scared. And I was like, there's no like warm up, there's no guessing. It's just, I heard how Tyler hits it, I'm gonna do that. And then like over the 2 big dogs, that one was like, we call it like the moon booter, and that one came into like a right hander, and then there was a jump that it was jumping over trees, so you couldn't even see the landing, and it's like 100 feet, I think.
98 feet to
that jump over the tree was crazy.
Yeah,
like
so
I
like,
don't know how you guys did that. That's
yeah,
nuts.
and like I like looked at it with Tyler before, and I like rode up the landing to try and like peek through the trees to like see something, and he rides up next to me and he like looks and he's like, you see that like twig with the leaf on it? And it's just a tree, so I'm just like, sure. And he's just like, yeah, aim right there, that's about lined up. And I'm like, okay. And like, jeez. Tyler's analogies and stuff, he's like, it's like hitting a 75 but bigger.
And you're like, all right,
what does that mean?
Okay, so like that's like not helpful at all, because like 75, like, you know, the speed, but like when you just say it's 75 but bigger, like that goes out the window.
Mean?
Yeah, it means nothing. So I'm just like, okay, like you just give off like what we were talking about earlier, you just give off some dirt bike noises in your head, and you're like, all right, it's just like a yacht. And I'm just like, all right. And
dude, like a 75, a little more yacht, and you're like, oh, okay, cool.
The amount of times, like, it's trippy because, like, I don't fucking do any of them. I'm like, they're like, hey, do you want to drive the bikes there in a budget truck? I'm like, fuck yeah, let me load them up. I'm like, I ain't jumping this shit. So, like, I'm like full outside perspective watching them do it, and like the amount of trust that like she puts in these dudes, and like the dudes, like they don't ever like look at her being like, it's crazy because like not once have like the guys ever been like, oh yeah, she's good for a girl. Like it's like they're just like, yeah, she's good. It's like she's like not even in the category of being like, oh, she hits it good for a girl. It's never like, no, she just fucking kills it. And like watching like how we all like dirt bikers, we're always like everything's explained through dirt bike noises.
It's amazing.
And like this past year, there was like a 120. And Twitch is like, yeah, no, you got it. That's perfect. Just bop, bop, bop. And she's like, okay, cool. And then goes and does it. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, how do you even know how fast that is?
So you know what that means.
Yeah, but it's funny though because Jeremy will do that to Axel all the time, and like I didn't even put it into my head until after I like landed and was like, okay. But I've been standing next to Jeremy, and like Axel will like look at something, and Jeremy's like, oh yeah, you got it. Just do it like this, and then he'll look at me and be like, I don't really know if he's got it. And then
is that Jeremy McGrath?
No, Twitch.
Twitch.
And I was just like, I don't know if he knew if I had it or not. I was just like, I just trusted him, and I was just like,
and this epiphany.
I was just like, I don't even know if he was telling me the truth or not.
But like you tell that stuff to Axel, and that kid has so much talent and ability. It works 99.8% of the time.
Oh, it's amazing. I liked watching you guys hit the ramp too. Even the amount of dirt bike references I hear. Who did the 360? Was that Taka?
Oh, the body varial?
Varial,
He's like, oh, first guy, ball. Second guy, ball. Third time, ball. Oh, shit. And then it came around. And they're like, the amount of times, like, yeah, it's, 75. So you just go, bop, 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 like the bog or the like, yeah, da, 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 da. Like, oh, shit, I was nose high. I had to like whiskey throttle out. Just, I love the amount of dirt bike noises that get made through general dialogue with riding motocross.
It's funny because like when I used to snowboard and hit the jumps, I'd watch people hit it. And I was like, okay, they carve there, and then they go straight. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, oh God, rolling the windows down. I'm like, I messed up a corner. Just fully flat landing.
Yeah, snowboarding's like, what's the speed? About 2 turns. Like, Moto, what's the speed? It's like, bop, bop, bop. Okay, cool. That works.
That's the analogy. It's crazy. It doesn't matter what it is. There's always some sort of speed trap.
Amazing. Now, you guys seem like, are you technically Vicky's mechanic when you're on races? How does that work? I see you wrenching her. Is that
Rob is the full-time mechanic.
Shit. I was just talking about Washougal though.
Oh no, like I'll help do stuff with like anything I can. Like I'm always like down to work on stuff. I work on Rob does a lot of stuff for me, and then I'll do like the little stuff, but Rob's always like her go-to guy. But I'm always down.
Is he in Temecula?
Yeah.
So you guys bring your bikes to him and he gets them dialed in.
And he's the one that like we have like the sickest bikes out there, and it's all because of Rob.
Sick.
Like I just like pick out a color basically, and he goes with it. Like I have like a brown frame this year, and that's all I told him. Like I want to do something different, and I want to do like a brownish frame. And he's like, okay, I got it. And he like found the color, hooks up with the Cerakoting, powder coating, like does everything, fully builds a bike, and like he does little things that you would never see, never think of, and like he's the one that like builds it, and then just kind of like, all right, here you go, and like don't screw it up. And that's kind of his job, is just to not screw it up.
Well, I was gonna say, I think it's cool too, because I see like we're at Schugle and you're like maybe getting the suspension dialed or something for her bike, and then you guys go ride Harleys, and then you're filming him do wheelies, and so you guys kind of have a cool like give and take of like, whatever, filmer / backup mechanic.
Interesting team, but we make it work.
Oh yeah.
I actually got another great question for Seth this time, and this one's from another friend of the show again, Tyler Bierman.
Oh God.
What's up, Bombhole? TB here. I got another question for a slice of Seth himself, Mr. Seth Brisson. Seth, as long as I've known you, you've been the biggest road dog I've ever met. You've traveled east to west so many times, more times than I can count. Can you give us some tips and the keys and steps to a successful and good road trip coast to coast?
That's a good one, because I am a road dog. Like my dad was a trucker, and I got my CDL to drive big trucks when I was like 18, and I drove a little bit growing up, like just doing construction stuff. And then when I started doing the Harley stuff, they had like a 40-foot trailer, and we'd put like 6 or 7 Harleys in it, so it became like literally like 1 year I drove from like California to like Connecticut, East Coast, like 9 times in 1 year, like back and forth. And that's like not including flying and all that stuff. But I love driving. That's the thing, is like some people hate it, but like I'll sit in the chair and do like 1,500 miles in a day and I get stoked on it.
How does that work? How do you do that?
Well, the key is timing your pit stops to when you need fuel. So pretty much like I'm always like, oh, I got 500 miles, so I need gas. So I'm like, I'm just going to sip this water. And I'm like, I'll drive and I'm like, okay, well, if I want to be there in like 3 days, I'm like, I have to make it to here. And then from here, I can go here. But like now that we're leaving here literally and driving back to Connecticut, and she's like, no, let's see some things.
I'm like anti A to B. I'm like, I get so bored. I'm like, I need to do something.
Yeah,
So-
get out, you don't get out and I get out and I'll skate. I go to a skate park. That's a good, but you're just like
Point and shoot.
You're point and shoot. Okay.
But I love it. Like, I don't know why. Like, I think
You're a
like,
sicko.
for me driving, I'm like, this is the greatest alone time ever. I'm just cruising in my zone, just jamming. And I don't know. I love it.
What about you a sunflower seed guy? You a podcast guy? Like, what's your murder mystery?
I'm a big murder mystery guy. A little bit of nicotine chew. That's a necessity.
The question is, have you ever done smelling salts? Because Buds and I just drove to Bachelor. They're
They wake you
great.
right
These
up
will
if you're
keep,
driving.
These will keep you going.
They'll keep you going.
Have you tried one before?
No, but I need to smack
All right,
one.
here, you take the one. Vicky, take one. We got plenty left. Yeah, we're good. Okay.
This is the end of our supply, huh?
Yeah. Oh, we'll share one, Buds.
There's a shortage of these nationally.
These are a commodity. So what you do?
Crush one.
You should honestly take a couple for your ride home. Like if you're like middle of the night about to fucking keel over. Zonk out. So you squeeze it, and then it'll pop, and it'll turn red, and then give it a good whiff.
Don't go crazy with the whiff, though.
I've only had my doctor would give these to me when I was super sick.
Really?
And like,
Just to pep
and
you
you
up.
just like make me smell it and clear out your sinuses. I've never done it just like not sick.
Oh, this will just
fun.
make for a good podcast.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
All right, so snap it.
Snap it, sniff it.
Snap and sniff.
That's aggressive.
Oh, God, I got a big sniff. My, they're burning.
I didn't know I was going to cry on this show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Run through a wall smelling salts. They may or may not.
You got a good one.
Yeah, I got a good one.
I know, I'm crying too.
Might be available when this podcast comes out. Might not. Most likely sold out.
Is this going to come in your first aid kit?
Oh, it should. Yeah. Yeah, it should.
Holy shit, this will bring you back. Yeah. I mean, you can be at an all-time low and you smack this thing and you're running.
Yeah, we have packaging and everything here.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, they sell out really quickly when we post them.
They sell out in less than a day.
All right, I have a question for you, Vicky, because coming from our sport, when I look at snowboarding, I think there's a much bigger ratio of like men to women. There's just a lot more women that seem to do it. Do you feel like women in Moto, motocross, freestyle, freeride moto, whatever you want to call it, get as much support? Do you think how's the support compared to men in your sport?
Man, it's definitely a pretty big drastic change and a big drop. But at the same time, unfortunately, so does the talent and the speed. Now it's starting to kind of amp back up, and I think our future is really bright in that area. But yeah, as of late, it's unfortunately just been me. I mean, which is sweet for my job, but I don't want it to really like, oh, that's her and that's her only, and then nothing. So, like I said, the future is bright for us. So I think on the women's side, that the talent and the speed is kind of progressing in that category, and we're seeing like a lot more females in like some more actually. Like I think I see it more in like the woods and like work style racing, like those more like longevity races. So like we're kind of getting like more and more, but in just smaller categories. But as far as jumping goes and that kind of area, it's just still not there. There's no like females that really go like free ride or do any of that, which is unfortunate because that's like my favorite part. But hopefully we see it in that category a little more.
I think when I think about it too, I think it's cool because my question for you would be, did you have anybody that you watched growing up doing that that's a female?
Growing up, no. I mean, like I grew up watching like Supercross and things like that. And I kind of going back to my childhood is like, we didn't really come from a lot of money. We didn't really have a lot of motocross tracks around. So we went and rode out in the hills. And it's gnarly to go ride out in the hills when you're a 7-year-old kid on a little 50. Like there's big rocks, big, rain ruts. It's no joke to being, going out there. And I grew up on that stuff. So like I was doing like more of like that technical bike stuff that you need just to like get to the tracks we built out there. And those tracks were never like groomed. They were always rough and never maintained. So like I was always like just growing up on whatever you could find. So like I think that's pretty much what shaped me. And you know, that bike skill kind of just came to me because I was already growing up doing that stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I think the thing that's cool that I feel is going to happen, and I don't know, but I think it's happened in snowboarding, is that, you know, now you grew up and you figured out how to get good by your environment and just by doing what you do, but you didn't have that person that was like, oh, she's done it before me, I can do it. But now there's an 8-year-old girl out there, whoever, that's like, oh shit, like Vicky's doing that, I want to do that. Like, oh, it's like Vicky's doing big whips, I want to do big whips. Vicky's doing backflips and front flips. Oh, I can do backflips and front flips, and I'm a girl. You know, so I think that there's going to be like a huge, rapid progression just by you paving the way for these women. I think that. Do you ever see anything like that happening? Or?
Absolutely, and I hope that it does, because like the easiest environment, like for anything, is like if you can just see it done, you're like, oh, okay. Like even when we go to Imagination, like Tyler was the first one to hit stuff, and then as soon as he hit it, everyone starts starting their bikes up. And you're like, okay, like it's just that first step to being able to like see it done, and that's really all it takes. And that's like the easiest step to make, is basically for one person to make the hardest step, is that's the first one. So I think hopefully now that, you know, I've kind of made these steps, and it's, you know, it's a visual thing for other women that now it can be taken, and now there's goals hopefully to be set that surpass mine.
I love it.
What's it like with sponsors? Because are you speaking to a lot of women or not? Like, are brands understanding and getting behind you?
Absolutely, yeah. Now, so like I've actually started to kind of try and create some more like women's motocross camps. Pretty much all skill levels, and like no like pros only, anything like this. Like I'm welcoming, you know, if you've never had a bike to you've had a bike forever but you're still not sure. So like I just like am trying to open that up and create that, you know, environment. And we did one in Delano, California, and it was just like a motocross facility, and just kind of we invited some women out, and I did some lessons, and just trying to like open the eyes and like, you know, teach them and start teaching things like the proper way too, because a lot of riders, when we get to our level, it's like breathing to us. So like it's like, how do you explain something that you know how to do? And it's just like breaking it down, so, you know, like just in a different way that someone might understand. So I've just been trying to open up those doors and like kind of just create that like almost like, you know, environment for people to learn, which is like once again the hardest thing to do, is just getting it seen and like taught the right way. So I don't know, hopefully those help. And like I said, like sponsors are pretty much really supportive of whatever I want to do. If I come to them with an idea or a video part, they're like, oh yeah, just like put it in writing, we'll do it. So like it's really cool in that aspect. Like if I want to help, you know, like kids or women learn on a bike, they're all about it. If I have an idea of like, hey, I want to try this trick, but I need like help, they're like, okay, what do you need? So it's like, it's just a really cool like thing to have, you know, support. You know, that's like the main thing. Like you can probably ask any person on this world, like, if you have a cool idea, like, what does it take? Well, you need this, this, and this. Like, and if you just get it handed to you, now you're like, yes, let's do this, you know?
That's killer.
That's cool. You have bikes, too, to give people that don't even have bikes. So
yeah.
They can come and ride.
Yeah,
That's
we had women, like, from Canada, the UK, like, from the East Coast. So it was pretty crazy to have that many different women coming from all over just to come ride and come learn.
Yeah, the interest is there. They just need the opportunity, yeah.
Absolutely. And that's, like, what it's easy. Like, if you have it written out for you, and like, you know, all you got to do is show up.
That's awesome.
You know, and then that's kind of like what we tried to make it like, and then make an experience, you know, like a lot of people, like, especially like women, like I think they learn differently and like take the environment differently than men. So when I do things, like I think it just made it easier if you're around all women. Like I'm pretty used to it. Like if I like crash in front of my friends, they just point and laugh, and they just don't even help you up. And women will just like shrivel up and die inside when that happens. And so I'm just used to it. So I just know that I'm like, that's not the way these women are going to work. And they even say, they're like, oh, my boyfriend just doesn't help me. He just laughs. And I'm just like, well, there you go.
Yeah.
So, like, it's just, like, creating that different environment for a woman to learn. It's just different
It's
for
just
men.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
think about if you go to a sport that's that male dominated, it's intimidating for me to go up there, and then you take somebody who's just barrier to entry is like just getting into the sport. But the thing that's cool, I think, is the all women's riding camps. A bunch of my friends, wives and girlfriends have done these, and they get hooked. And it's like once you get somebody to figure out the learning curve of like, they get some confidence, you start to learn how to corner a little bit, you start to maybe catch a little bit of air. Once you get to that, boom, you're hooked. And so if you can get more women to just yacht and catch that inside rut once, then you're like,
You're hooked.
You're in. And so that's like, those camps are probably huge for the growth of motocross in general and stuff.
Yeah, and I think the best thing about it is, like, a lot of people, like, even, like, kids, too, like, they, like, base it off of, like, when we talked about, like, results, and that's, like, not how you, like, measure fun. And, like, the same thing, like, when they think, like, because we can do all these big jumps, like, that's the only level of fun we have is because we're doing, like, the biggest jumps. And I'm like, dude, no, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care what level you're at. Like, fun is fun on a dirt bike. And, like, you can go to a track and, cruise and not hit any of the jumps. You're probably having the time of your life. You can hit some of them, all of them. You're still having fun. And, like, that's kind of just bringing, like, ourselves, like, to a humbler level of, like, just because, like, we jump big stuff and, like, do cool tricks doesn't mean, like, that's the only level of fun that's allowed in motocross is the highest level. No, it's fun no matter what class you're in. I mean, look at Chris. He loves it.
I can vouch
He's
for
the
it.
C-class
Guy loves it.
champ.
Extremely fun. Actually, I'd say mid to back of C class. I wouldn't even say champ, but yeah.
Okay, mid
But the championship's coming.
But like she said, dude, I rode the track for 2 years where I didn't jump half the jumps, and I was still having a blast.
Yeah,
and
that's why we have, like, this sport, and that's why we got to give it back. And same thing for snowboarding. You think the kids going down the bunny slopes aren't having fun? They're having a blast, So, like, it doesn't really matter what level it's at.
Totally. And then it seems like you guys, I mean, you're coming from racing, and it was this very, very competitive thing that was very, like, you wore yourself down, you trained really hard and sucked the fun out of it. And it seems like the balance that you have where it's like, let's do some filming, we'll film some video parts like snowboarding, we'll do some shows where we do some whips in some parking lots, and then we're going to race the fun races. We're going to race Day in the Dirt and, like, Shugel, like those ones. It seems like you found a good balance of, like, enjoying yourself on your dirt bike again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it took, like, the opposite ends too, because when I went to freestyle, I was like, well, I wasn't done racing, but this is, like, helping pay the bills, and, like, I didn't want to be labeled a freestyle rider. I'm like, I'm not a freestyle rider. Like, I don't want to do this. And, like, it's just, like, the lifestyle in that category too is totally different. I'm like, dude, you guys don't work, do you? You just, like, sit around and show up and, like, jump for a couple times and you leave. And I'm like, that ain't me either. So, like, I kind of, like, had to, like, search for a little bit to find this niche that I'm in now. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I get to go ride the track. I get to go racing. I'll do some shows. I'll go ride in the hills. We'll go film some stuff. Like, I had definitely, like, took a bumpy road to be able to find, like, this little niche. But, man, I'm glad I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool. And that's the thing I think that's really cool about these races. And I'm going to say, like, we tried to do this. Like, Day in the Dirt was straight up inspiration for the shirt that Bubs is wearing, Bombhole Cup. One thing that's really cool about racing is, like, you're racing this track. Josh Grant, all these pros, all these, and then so am I, and I'm getting passed by these people, and so you get to do it all together. And I think that's what's cool about racing. Those fun races is that all ability levels are on the track at the same time. Where in snowboarding you might have Dew Tour and X Games, and then all the contests are either super pros or, like, up and coming, but you never really mix them all together. And that's what I love about your guys' sport is, like, those fun races, like, get everybody together. We needed that in snowboarding more too.
Oh yeah.
And that's just the funnest part is, like you were saying, like, we're all on the track together with some, like, people that are on TV doing the Supercross. Like, this is what they do for a job. And then they're here just having fun doing this race in the weekend. And, like, as someone who's not as good as them, like, just being on the track with someone who's, like, a star or whatever, that's, like, huge. Like, you get to watch what they do, you get to watch how they ride, and it just gives you that instant boost of just confidence. It's cool.
Yeah, 100%. And I'd like to change gears maybe about talking about your career on the Harley and things like that. You rode for Unknown for a while. You did all the shows with Unknown.
Yes.
And then you recently switched up some sponsors and kind of figured out a new flow of your career, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I did shows with Unknown for like probably 5-6 years, say. And then a year and a half ago, I got hurt riding moto. I ruptured my Achilles and it was the worst thing. I don't know. It sucked to do, but I feel like the recovery of an injury is obviously the worst thing ever. And then the whole time I was hurt, from her, I became like super close with like the FastHouse family and the Bell Helmets family. So they kind of like were reaching out to me, asking like what my plans were. And then it kind of like transformed from like doing all the show stuff and traveling 24/7 to doing like more media based stuff. And like, they pretty much were like, hey, like we like who you are. We like what you like portray and how you are as a person. And like, we just want to back you. And like, we don't care what you ride, what contest you do. Like, we don't even care what you do. Like, we just want you to be you, have fun and portray yourself and just live. And I was like, that's pretty solid. So now it's like, I kind of like you said, I do all the fun moto events. And then a lot of the moto events, I'll bring a Harley too. So then we get to go film Harley stuff in the street. So like, I'll film like all media based stuff kind of. So then like, I'm like pushing more content now all over like social media and stuff like that. And then I still get to go and like race moto for fun because I honestly didn't ride dirt bikes again till like 4 years ago when I like moved to Temecula with like her and Bierman and like Twitch. Like they kind of were like, what are you doing? Like you can't be down here and not have a dirt bike. So then I was like, fuck, I got to get another one. And then like I started riding more and I like found my love for it again, just like I was a kid. And then like between the Harley stuff and then the moto stuff and just content and traveling with her and meeting new companies, it's kind of rad. And I'm just trying to find like my own lane of the Harley world and what it can be and just try to take it to there.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I think it almost reminds me of like almost like the early days of like skateboarding or something where you're like, how do you make a living? Like nobody's really made a living just riding Harleys and making videos before until you guys, So It's like you guys are kind of in uncharted territories of like a sport. I don't know if you call it just shredding.
I don't even know what you call it.
People hyped on doing burnouts and stuff. It's sick.
Yeah, and it's like honestly, like when we first started, the only way to make money was to do shows. So like it's kind of cool to see like where it's elevated to where companies want to put a brand on you to like have fun. But I'm also like a super big stickler of like who I want. Like I'm not going to support a company just for a paycheck. Like if I'm going to support a company that's supporting me, like I like them because of like who they are and what they represent. Like FastHouse and Bell Helmets is like a super family like vibe. Like they care about you. They care about how you're doing. They care about what you do, like how you feel, how you're riding. And like, that's like what I want to back is like companies like that. Like I'm not just going to ride for a company just because they're like, we'll give you this much money and then have them be like, oh, you're just a number to us. Like I'm all set with that.
Totally. That's cool. And seems like Vicki got you back into moto and then did you get Vicki onto riding Harleys more?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
110%. Like, I mean, I have like two identical ones. I had one that I built for strictly shows, and then I have another one that I built to be like pristine, and I like don't even want to ride it because it's too nice. So she'll always like ride one, and now it's to the point where I'm like, hey, you want to go ride this one? And like I'll go to throw her on the back. She's like, no, I'm all good. I want to take the other one. Not to mention, she doesn't have a motorcycle license, but we don't care about that.
Yeah. I don't need a permit.
Yeah.
Okay, I had a permit for a little bit, and then I just blamed it on COVID why I never got my license.
True.
But I think if you ask him, like, of all my accomplishments that I've ever done, me just hopping on his Harley and finally, like, beating on it once is probably, like,
I got it to burn out finally.
Yeah, because it's not my bike, and, like, that's his living, and, like, I don't know, like, I'm just weird with it, and I'm like, I just ride him and, like, cruise, and he's like, no, just do a burnout, dude. Then he's like, just do a dump off, and then I'm like, oh, okay. And
I love seeing people beat on shit.
Yeah,
I love it when people are rough. So I finally got her to do a burnout on it, and then I took her to Sturgis this past year, and like We came right from Loretta Lynn's, which is like the biggest amateur motocross race like in the world, and it's super family orientated. And she's like, "Oh, is Sturgis like that?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." It's like that. We get there, there's just like 70-year-old women with painted on tops and just yeah, like I mean the clothes are limited, the just teeth are limited. It's just a crazy place.
Yeah.
Teeth.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's brutal.
how is the old Harley scene too? You know, I think about, like,
those are my people.
yeah, that's your squad.
I love them. They're just like, it's so great because like a lot, like you'll beat on them and then some people love it. Like some of the, like the diehard Harley people, they live for it. And then you have other people who are so bummed that you ride like that. They're like, why are you treating it like that? Or like you'll burn out and they're like, that's a fucking waste of a tire and shit like that. And you're like, whatever, that's what people like.
God, those things are good times. I need to get back on a Harley. It's been a long
They're
time.
great. They're so fun. And like, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, I ride them for a living, but it's like, I don't just do it for like a paycheck or because like to film. Like I'll ride my bike for like 100 miles and not do a single wheelie or a single burnout. Like I genuinely I'll always ride Harleys. I'll always ride motorcycles. Like, yes, I make a living doing it, but at the end of the day, like I just love doing it. And I think that's what makes me like wanna, like I'm hungry to like keep seeing what I can do with it because like I love them. Like I'll always break them. I'll always work on them. I'll always throw tools when they can't fix them.
Yeah, he breaks them a lot. A lot of tool throwing.
Yeah.
I see that on your guys' Instagram. It seems like
I have a lot of temper tantrums.
You are constantly fixing motorcycles.
Yeah, I break everything.
Yeah, and you do enjoy that.
I love it. Like, I mean, the other day, like, it was a rough week. We had a fucking leaf blower, and I was like,
Leaf blower down.
dude, I was leaf blowing the driveway, and I like blew the motor in it. And I was like, how the hell does that happen? The next day, I like broke my Harley, and then I took apart the other Harley to make the other Harley work, and then I broke that one. And then it was just like, it was a week of destruction. But they're all back together.
Does Harley give you Harleys?
I had a deal with Harley for a little bit, and then it's just like we did a deal with them for like I think it was like 2 years. So we had bikes, like newer bikes that we did a couple shows on. But at the end of the day, like I love all my Harleys are old. They're like late 80s and early 90s. And like some of the newer Harleys with all like the technology and stuff they put on them, it makes it so hard to like do what we do on them.
Yeah, they're all computerized.
Yeah, it's like they have ABS, traction control. So you're trying to beat on them and the thing's shutting off on you. And you're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah,
with
it's
this
not
thing?
built for what you're doing.
Not even close.
That
And
makes
like,
sense.
and Harley's like, they're obviously like, they're a super rad company, but it's so hard for them because at the end of the day, like everything I do is illegal. Like not one, like.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are wheelies illegal?
No, they're fully illegal.
Really? What law? What's
Reckless driving.
Oh shit.
yeah. Reckless
Is it
driving.
reckless
Oh,
though,
yeah.
when you know what you're doing? No, it ain't reckless. You're
You're a professional.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But they don't.
Define reckless, like when you're a pro.
They're not really too stoked on it.
Yeah, would that line work with the cops? That
No.
you're professional? Man, this isn't reckless.
No, I
it's
like-
calculated.
Like I was in California for like a month and I had like a $900 ticket. It was
Oh my
like,
God.
I mean, it was my.
So you've got some reckless drivings?
I don't have any recklesses, knock on wood. But
I got one.
I got a lot of other ones. But
How'd
like,
you
Not
get
for
one,
doing
bud?
wheelies.
How'd you get one?
That long story.
All right.
I like that.
Guess we'll leave it at that.
But it's like it's hard to portray what I do to a company because it's like how is like a company that has gnarly like they have a huge like they're a full blown like company like a helmet company or something like that. It's like you have to portray something that's illegal, but make it legal.
Have you ever heard of skateboarding?
110%.
Like people grind down handrails for a living.
That literally there's
Snowboarding.
signs everywhere that say do not ride. So it's like how does like you got to make it like as friendly as you can for a company to promote, but still make it like yourself. So some companies want it, and like Harley is like, it's like kind of a touchy subject because
Yeah.
they love it, but it's like if it's closed course, you're good. But the second you start beating on stuff in the streets, they're just like, yeah. fuck
Really?
you.
Damn.
Yeah, like if you're throwing it
But
on
they
your
want a little
Instagram,
danger
they're probably
in there.
not stoked. Huh? Like
No.
you're just out on the highway, 12 o'clock, boys.
Yeah, they're not too stoked on
That's
that.
the draw of it. That's the draw.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to watch people skate the skate park. You want to watch them grind down a handrail.
Yeah.
in the
Absolutely.
streets. And same thing. So I have a question for you. Where do you think the future of this Harley riding is going?
Dude, it's gnarly. Like from the time that we kind of all like, I don't even know, like, cause like literally in the beginning of it, it was like there was like 5 dudes everywhere that they were the only people like me, Buddy, Nikki, like Cade Gates, like we were like
Give them all air horns here.
that's it. They need air horn. I feel like we were all like, I mean, they were doing it first, 110%, and then I seen them doing it, and it like lit a fire under me because I'm like, that's so sick. And then, but now that it's gotten more popular, like everybody is doing it. So many people are getting them and then trying to do it and filming. And like, there's a lot of nasty people out there. And like, I kind of like it because honestly, it's like, it gives like, there's more avenues for it. And realistically, like if you don't have competitors, like people that are upping the ante of like what you can do, what you can get away with, stuff like that, like things kind of fizzle out.
All right, I'm gonna say this right now. Evil Knievel used to jump a Harley Davidson.
Oh, he did? That was a Harley?
Sportster.
I'm just saying, you're wheeling him. FXR, you know. Who says that thing can't fucking fly down a 10 stair?
I've been telling him to do Ring of Fire.
Yeah,
I'm like, I want to bring it back.
Yeah, Ring of Fire.
Without a doubt.
Bring back Ring of Fire.
I'm down.
Dope.
I'll do it.
Yeah, you got now. You're training. You're crossover training on the Ami 2-stroke.
Oh yeah, I got a polar heartbeat monitor. I'm fucking ready.
Oh yeah. He
I'm
says
ready
he
to put
doesn't
him
do
in.
it for a living, but I'm starting to question it. He's got a stopwatch on his handlebar to make sure how long he's going, make sure he clears 30. I don't even have that.
Yeah. What are you writing on the pit board for him when he comes around?
I
Go
don't
faster,
know.
pussy.
Push. You know what we had at Watch Fugle that was amazing? It's got like Blum or somebody wrote. We had a pit board and it just said 8 equals D, which is a dick, like in a calculator back in the day or whatever. And so like there's dads next to us that have like 3rd place push, and then like we're coming around the corner and it just says 8 equals D, and like fucking all the pit board dads are like, you guys are fucking idiots.
Dude, it's so funny you fucking say that because growing up, we were at a local race and I drew a big old dick on a pit board and his fucking, like, the official was like, get that fucking thing out of here. He's like, it looks bad. I'm like, what, this thing? This big triumphant fucker just sitting on the board and people are going by.
So good. You're like just distracted when you come around.
You're like, what position am I in? Jesus. Going backwards.
Vicki, I think we should talk about your X Games real snow part. Real moto. Real snow moto.
I was like, she's got a real snow party?
I'm like, it's a little cold for me to be doing that. I don't know about all that.
Question, Vicki, have you ever snowboarded?
Absolutely not, never. But I have a great story that when I raced Supercross, Never Summer hit me up. And they wanted to sponsor me and like put their logo on my helmet. And like the first conversation with the owner was like, "Oh, do you snowboard?" I'm all, "Nope." They're like, "Oh, do you want to?" I'm like, "I don't have any ligaments in my knee, so to be honest, no." And he's like, "Okay, well, do you want to wear Never Summer logo on your helmet?" I'm like, "Yep." And the owner was super cool because I was just super blatantly honest with him. Like, I'm not going to ask you for a snowboard. I'm like, and if I do, it's to put on my wall, not to go go ride. So, yeah, that was like, it was just funny because I'm like, well, your logos look really cool. I like the eagle. And that was about as far as it went.
So they used to sponsor
was my
privateers back.
Yeah.
You? How many other people? It wasn't that many
Never
people.
Summer did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah.
fun
There was
fact.
like, I think like 5 of us, maybe 5 like privateer guys. And yeah, it was just some random thing for a little bit. And it was actually like still to this day, I'm like, dude, those helmets were pretty sick. Yeah.
Fucking
cool.
dope. Yeah. I know Corn Dog there. He's a big into moto. Chris Corning. He's a Colorado Never Summer rider. Okay. So
Dog.
we're talking about real moto.
Real
Yeah.
moto.
But this part's fucking insane. Did I send it to you?
I don't think so.
She yeah, why don't you talk about that real moto part? I don't need to talk
Here's a
about it.
rundown.
Oh man, it was probably like the amount of injuries that I took on for like, and like they don't give you a lot of time to make this video part. So the first film trip, day 1, we did some Supercross stuff, and then we went to like an iconic spot, kind of up in NorCal, and there's just like big 100-foot, 170-foot jumps out there, and like literally day 1, I break my T5. And that was day 1. And I was
What
like,
is your T5?
it's basically, I think it was my T5, but
your
it's
back?
basic,
Some
yeah.
spine stuff there?
It's
Spinal.
it's spinal.
Spinal.
It's just back stuff. I don't know. But it's basically, I thought I broke my tailbone, but it's literally the one right above it. I broke that one, and then I still had to do 2 over 100-foot jumps and ride a Supercross track that I haven't rode Supercross in years. And I was just like, we got to throw a part in there. So, I mean, I'm just like, if I was like timing stuff, and Supercross is literally all about timing, and I didn't have any of that yet. So I was just like over jumping, kind of clipping, and every time I did, I was just blacking out because like it was just shooting through my spine. I'm just like, oh my God, this sucks. And then I had to do, the next day we did two 100+ foot jumps. I think the second one was like 160. And then I wanted to trick it, and I've never tricked anything without like so mellow, but like our ramps are so poppy, kind of like it's super easy to trick, but the 160 was actually really hard. So I kept having to do it over and over and over, and I'm just getting more pissed off and more in pain. I was just over it. And so I did that, finished that part, and then I took like, I don't know, I think I could only take like 3 weeks off, and then I was like, it's time to do a front flip. So I didn't have much time, and I just wanted to like get into that start of learning it and get in the foam pit and just figuring out how to snap them and all that stuff. So I was heavy into the foam pit for a while, and one of the last days I was trying to kind of just time it, because in a foam pit you kind of want to land like super level, and that's not how you want to land to dirt when you do the trick. So I was like, all right, I want to snap one to where I would land like kind of front wheel heavy. And that bit me pretty hard, because I pretty much went into the foam pit with so much momentum and force that I got my like thumb stuck on the handlebar, and I like blew off the front of the bike. But you're in foam, so you just stop. So it just blew my thumb basically, like, and it like caught on the handlebar, and it basically like touched like the inside of my elbow, and it just broke like a couple pieces in my hand and then in my wrist. And so then once again, still don't have any time to heal. So I waited like maybe a couple days and bought a lot of athletic tape. And then we went and did some practice on basically where I had the landing built, and did some work there. And we put this landing bag on. And because like I didn't really have a lot of forward momentum, and we put a little too much air in the bag, I was actually landing the trick awesome, perfect. And as soon as I hit the bag, I bounced out of the bag. And I went to put my hand out and realized, oh, the right hand's broken. So I tucked that back in real quick, and then my left hand was still out and broke my left wrist. So I was like, well, I landed the trick perfect. The bag bounced me out. I literally got up and said, this one's broken. Fuck this. Pull the bag. And I went and I like snapped one of my levers off. So we fixed that. And I just literally like put some ice on it, took an ibuprofen 800, and they pulled the bag. And I couldn't even, like, pull the clutch in, nothing. Like, I couldn't even take my bike off the stand. I had 2 broken wrists at this point. And I'm like, now I had to, like, reevaluate things, because, like, I was kind of being a little slow on the rotation. But in order to speed up a front flip, you have to pull the clutch in and smack the brake. But I didn't have any wrist strength to pull the clutch in. So I'm like, well, I can't be under now. So I'm already, like, doing the gnarliest trick ever, and now I can't be under. So I'm like, okay, well, I got to snap it harder, and hopefully, like, I can either land perfect or I don't die if I over. Because if you go over, you're donezo. So I just, like, remember someone pulled the bike off my stand. I thankfully had electric start, because that's the only way I could have started on my own. I, like, pulled the clutch in, like, with my arm, and just, like, I ran out of athletic tape, too. So I looked at some duct tape and just did just a couple extra wraps. And, took off, and I remember just thinking as I like circled it a couple times, and I'm just like, man, we're like 2 hours from the hospital. That's close. And I'm just like, I picked the worst location, because this is really far from any hospital. So I'm just like, all right, we're just gonna go. And I just turned the corner and just basically was like, just do what you remember how to do. And thankfully I got around, but I was so I was over a little bit, because I'd like held the no-hander, and I just was like, I was just terrified at this point, and I like tucked in too quick, so I started to go over, and I was just like pushing back to try and slow this thing down wide open. And thankfully I like barely got the front end down right on the landing, and just smacked my face on the front number plate so hard that it broke the front number plate. And I was just like, had no way to hold my body weight up, because both wrists were broken. So that's why I just slammed down so hard. And then I was just like holding on for dear life to just ride this thing out. And then that was the end of my video part.
Damn. That's nuts.
Yeah.
2 broken wrists. Like, most people just stop, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, nah, I got to keep doing this.
Yeah. And it's kind of like a trippy scenario.
And
because,
not to mention your back, right?
Yeah. My back was still pretty smoked.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was a crazy scenario.
Doing a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah, people are always like, "Oh wow, you're so brave," and I'm like, "No, we're just
stupid."
No, there's a that's I mean, the thing that speaks to me is the sheer determination of. I mean, anybody, have you ever picked
That's
up
what it is,
like a
right?
450 is like a gigantic motorcycle. Like, and think about like, yeah, I'm going to do a front flip on this.
Yeah, that's
You're just like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, it's insane. And you've also backflipped them too, right?
Yeah, backflip, front flip, and yeah, just got those all around. But yeah, I've been lacking in that department, so hopefully we'll get back on it.
It's crazy. No one's there to like stop you from doing it with 2 broken wrists and a broken back. The dudes are just like, just keep going, tape it up.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, we all know how brutal and stubborn she is. She's like worse than any dude I've met.
Yeah.
It's like most dudes you make, I don't know, man. There's a lot of consequences. You're like, yeah, I'll wait till tomorrow. With like her, you're like, you shouldn't do it. And she's like, fuck it. And I'm like, oh God, here we go.
Oh, you told me I shouldn't do it? Well, you know what? Now I want to do it more.
No,
actually,
yeah.
now I actually really want
You
to
got
do
to
it.
use reverse psychology.
It's
then.
like, I really think you got this and you should do it right now. Really? Well, I actually don't want to do it. Yeah, that's how I am at least. You know what? We've been going for a while, buds. You know what I almost forgot?
Ooh, name that video part.
That is correct. Here we go. It's just the intro song. We had Axel on the other day. He thought that was the part.
He's like, I got it.
He was just thinking like,
I've never heard that one.
All right. Well, let's see how you guys do. What's your confidence level 0 through 10?
-5.
-5 is good.
Yeah.
You got one for each of them? How you doing?
No, we're.
What category?
Are we
I
allowed
did Moto.
to?
Effort?
Can I phone a friend?
You got one.
Yeah,
next
sure.
to you.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't count.
He doesn't count.
Yeah, I'm not very bright. My confidence level is probably at least 1.75.
One. Oh, okay. Yeah, she's the percentile. I like that. All right. Let's see how you guys do. Here we go.
I mean, obviously it's an old school video, and I probably am not gonna guess the right one, but and this is like a wide variety of either Krusty or Terra Firma. So
Krusty's correct. So Krusty's correct.
Anyone that's listening that's in the Moto community is like, God, you're pitiful.
I know.
And I'm
Like,
just
have you not
dang it.
seen these? I'm like, I don't know. I've watched them on YouTube. They're just terrible quality.
They're really bad quality. So I mean, Krusty, I'll count that as a win. You want to take a stab at one of the videos?
Pick a number.
Yeah, you pick a number.
What do you think I should go with? I need one. I'm dead in the water.
Let's go. You mean 1 through, what is there, 5 total?
Yeah.
So that means 1
I'm going
through
to go
5.
4.
Close.
1, 2, 3.
That was it. You said third one. Third one you said was right. Krusty 3.
Oh, we were
It's
close.
the intro. We're going to count it. This is more of a participation award here. So one of these, we got you a prize pack from the bomb hole here. For name that video part.
Wow.
More of a participation award.
I didn't even
participation
have to
award.
send my resume in to get some bomb hole stuff.
No,
Wow.
you're good. You kind of almost won that just by saying
Sheer
Krusty.
luck.
Yeah.
By saying 1, 2, 3.
Saying Krusty.
I figured if I just guess small
Or-
ones in there.
Yep.
This thing's sick.
Yeah, so all that stuff, where's it available, buds?
Bombhole.com.
That's true. And then for part 2 in the name that video part,
Oh, Christ.
this is for our listeners.
Listeners.
Yeah, for
Okay,
our
good.
listeners.
You don't
yeah.
got to do anything.
And if you know what video part it is, when the thumbnail of these guys comes out to announce the episode on Instagram, that's where you leave your comment of what part it is. First person to guess the right one gets what, buds?
Price pack.
That is absolutely correct. Okay,
That's a snowboard video.
the snowboard video. Thank you guys for playing. Name that video part. So name that video part. When we do that, I think it's kind of like an effort to preserve the culture of videos. Like in snowboarding, I grew up on them. They were really important. Like you watch parts all the time. It's where you learn all your tricks. Do you feel like is it going towards, in both what you like Harleys and stuff? I don't even know if there's full length videos, but with like motocross and free riding, is it going more towards Instagram, or do you think the video part and the video series stuff is important?
I think both. Like both of you definitely get like, I don't know, like the Instagram I feel like is just like that spot to just like throw out what you've been doing or something. But like a video part to me is like a piece of art that you can make. And it's like a blank canvas you can start with. And that's like the cool thing about a video part is basically that of like, okay, well, like what do I want to showcase? Where do I want to go? And I feel like Instagram like is more of that, like, oh, like this one trick, you know, type thing. So I don't know, like I still love doing video parts and like getting to be able to like have that creativity and like really like take the time for like the sequence shots that like no one's going to care about on Instagram because they're just scrolling. So like it's just like that creating like that piece of like, yeah, just a lot of like even just dumb dead clips that are like not that cool, but like you get like the right scenic area that you're riding in, like that's like the time for like some video pieces and just like really showcasing that stuff to where when you're scrolling you're getting, you know, like 0.5 seconds of someone's attention span to where like you can't even get to appreciate it. So I feel like YouTube or like those video parts are like really where that stuff shines.
Totally. Yeah, what about with Harleys?
I mean, I would love to do a full video part, but it's also crazy too because like you'll take the time and film like the sickest clips with like good photographers, like, and I'll watch it and be like, dude, this is the sickest shit. Like, I'm so stoked on this. And you'll go to put it on mine and it's like 10 people like it. And you just post like an iPhone like clip of you jumping off a curb and it's like 3 million people love it. And I'm like, this makes no sense. So like, I think like how she was saying, like the video parts are always to me going to be essential because Instagram is kind of like, to me, it's like those quick bangers, those clips that like you're just so stoked on, you can't wait. And it kind of like you'll always have content continuously flowing because of Instagram. But I'll always also like the video part side of things because like that's where you kind of get to showcase like what makes you so different from other people riding. Like video parts to me are like you really get to break down and see like how different everyone's style is, how they look at like the culture of it differently. Like everything is just so cool with the video parts. And like growing up like on snowboard parts as well, like you can see how different every person is by like just like the second a video like part starts, you're like, oh yeah, you know how this dude's style is right away.
100%. That's another thing too. I was wondering is about the parallels of, you know, snowboard, kind of more snowboard skate, I'd say, and it's like style is like so important once you kind of get into it and understand about it. That style's really like king.
Absolutely.
You know? And is it the same? Like even in Harleys, is there people have style?
Yeah, I mean, I think they do, especially like to me, like I always like, I like really nice, shiny like bikes.
Yeah.
Like
true.
I try to keep all my bikes as nice as possible, not only just for like, that's who I am. Like I like really clean stuff because like companies to me, like I get like, they send me parts and they support me and stuff. And it's like, why are you gonna like, no one's gonna come up to me and ask me why I'm running a part if my bike looks like a piece of shit.
Good point.
But when my bike is like beautiful and shining and they see what I'm doing on it, like people want to know why I run the way I do. And like to me, like style of like how you like are wheeling, how you're burning out, how you do shows and stuff like that is everything because everybody has a different style. So like I always try to do something different. I always try to be like extra smooth or extra fluent or make it look like don't put a lot of effort into it. But it's also crazy because like growing up like around like the freestyle world with these guys, it's like if you make something look too easy, then you get like docked points for it as well. But luckily I don't do any contest stuff. I just cruise around and do burnouts.
Yeah. What about style on the moto?
Like he said, sometimes like in contests too, it almost hurts you. Because, like, if you make something look super hard, they're like, oh, man, that was probably super hard. But if you, like, put all your time in and make it literally, like, look effortless, they're like, oh, that was probably easy. And it's not. You just put the time in and you make it look clean. And that's, like, a lot of things that, like, go into, like, judging, too, for stuff that you're just like, oh, well, if you have this judge and he used to ride and that trick was easy for him, but it's hard for you, now you're kind of screwed. Or, like, just doing things a certain way. And I think that's kind of where, like, it gets tough for us in like contests because like a lot of dudes that do make things look hard, then granted they are very hard, but you have another guy that did them like effortless and like he got docked points for it. So it's like it gets tough because like you have someone, like I said, like they'll send it to flat, but they landed it, but they bobbled, almost crashed. But if you like use the landing and grease it, they're like, oh, well, that wasn't that hard, was it? And it's just like it kind of like it's a catch-22 of like where we're at too, because as a rider, as anyone should, you don't want to be sloppy like that. that you see it and you're like, oh, that sucked. And then, you know, if someone else sees it that's never done it before and they're like, see it sloppy, like, oh man, that must have been so gnarly. They barely got it around, you know?
Totally. No,
Some of the
it.
judges not ride?
Yeah.
Or that not used to ride?
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
some of them will ride, but like not freestyle or something, you know?
That's crazy. They're judging stuff that they don't even do.
Yeah, that makes no sense
Makes
to
no
me.
sense.
Yeah, it gets tough. I mean, anything you judge is tough. That's like what
It's
a
hard
lot
enough,
of people
right?
like
Judging
racing.
is tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a fun job to be a judge.
Yeah.
No.
Especially if you have like your friends doing it and you're just like, oh, well, sick. And then like I'm pretty pretty fair of like when I like do something and I'm like, oh, I didn't win. What the heck happened? You know, like I like see it and I'm like, okay, I got fifth. Well, I think I should have got fourth maybe. You know, like I'm pretty like I try and be pretty fair when I like do a contest and I see where I stack up. And sometimes I'm like, dude, I was not supposed to be there. You know, like it goes either direction, but most of the time everyone's always disappointed.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like your friends up there too, so it makes it a really tough scenario.
Well, the thing too, I also think is like when it goes down to, it depends on what's important to you too, because it's like, if I think styles the most important,
110%.
especially when it comes down to, and when I watch some of these whip contests, there's a couple different types of whips. Like I like watching the turn up, like nose high, twitch whip, whatever people call those, or the seat bounce where they're really upside down.
Yeah.
But it seems like a lot of times the people that win are those guys that just do the most aggressive, like 180 whip, where it's like backwards, which is scary as hell, but it's like the whole like head turning really hard and like doesn't quite have the fluidity of like a seat bounce whip like Bierman might do, where he's all upside down, or Axel or something.
Yeah, and like those are two of the most stylish people that will ever ride.
Yeah,
it's like you watch Bierman and like Axel, like their style is just, and I don't. It's like they don't, like it literally looks like they don't try, but they're also like so in tune with what they do. It's just trippy, and like it's cool because she has like her own patented style too. It's like nobody else, and it's always like it's funny because like you watch her ride and like you could never in 100 years tell it's a girl riding a bike. Like if she tucked her ponytail up and you get stuffed by her, you're like, fuck that guy. But if like your ponytail's out, you're like, oh Jesus, we're getting passed by a girl.
That's actually a great question. That segues perfectly into a question from none other than Tyler Bierman.
Another question here for you, Vicki. 9 days out of 10, you'll show up to a session with all the boys and you end up throwing down harder than most of us. Has there ever been a time when you rattled some of the boys or gotten some salty attitudes after just absolutely putting it to them?
I don't think I've ever like gotten attitudes from them. But I do know that the other dudes will be like, dude, Vicki rode better than you. And like they like beef it out and like just try and really like make that point of like, dude, you kind of suck today. Vicki rode way better than you. So it definitely does happen. But I don't know, like I just, like I said, I try and like I see them and I'm like, dude, I'm doing what they're doing right now. Like, I'm not letting it surpass me, and that's just, like, I have to stay that way, and or I feel like I'll, like, lose it.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately for me, I'm like, if you're not feeling it, don't do it. And she's like, fuck you. I'm like, oh, God, all right, sorry, Jesus. I'm like, let me go sit in the car.
Yeah, that's amazing. The best thing you do is tell somebody that they can't do it. Like,
I just try to tell her to chill.
Yeah, you're like, hey, I don't know if you got this. She's like, oh, really? Oh, really? Fuck you, I'm gonna jump it.
I just try to. I'm like, hey, if you're second guessing it, I'm like, just chill out. But then again, like I think about it and like I'm talking to her, I'm like, who the fuck are you? I'm like, you don't do this. So what advice? Like she'll be like, how did it look? I'm like, sick. I don't know because I can't do it. I'm like, it looked good though.
That's dope. One thing I thought was cool when we were racing Washougal, there's that like little girl Lily Davis. How old is she?
I think she just turned 9. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think's in store for the future of like young gals like her and stuff? I don't know where it's going.
I see kind of like a lot of me in her because she is just fueled by like just pure passion. And she does like winning and like all that good stuff and getting trophies and things like that. But like you like bring up dirt bikes and you can just see the smile. And like you get her on a bike, she's just smiling nonstop.
Yeah, bicycles.
Yeah,
bikes.
no matter what it is, and like no matter what she's doing, she's just like dirt bikes like fuel her passion, and she just like loves it. And she may not be like the best in every race and like doing the greatest and being like the hot hit of like every race and being like that next rider. But like, once again, like when we go back to what we just started with this podcast is like, what are you going to know at 9 years old? You know, like they like it because it's fun. And like, that's why like I tell the parents, and the parents are like on board with the same vibe. And that's like kind of why we get along so well, is because they're like, well, if she wants to go ride, she can go ride. Like, we don't care if she races and wins or if she races and just has fun. We just want her to give her best. And their parents, you know, they come from like a lot of like hard times and aren't like the best off. So that's kind of like reminded me a lot of me too as a kid, of like didn't have the best equipment, didn't have a lot of things to work with, and they're just grinding to, you know, keep these bikes running. So that's just kind of like, you know, seeing her so happy riding a dirt bike, I'm like, I don't really care, like, from, like, me supporting her of being like, oh, well, did you go race this weekend? No, I don't care. Like, did you have fun? Did you get to go ride? Let me know. Like, I just want to, like, see what gets her excited, and that's just riding dirt bikes. So, like, I love helping, like, those types of people that, you know, like, those are the parents that kid's, she's going to go a lot longer because she's fueled by fun right now, not results. So that's like kind of why I like helping. And like a lot of people are like, oh, why is she sponsored by FastHouse? I'm faster than her. And I'm like,
You
for
hear
that right
so
there.
much.
Just because of that attitude. Right?
Yeah, right
you
there.
hear that so much.
And that's like the bummer about it. Same thing with like the parents of those kids of like, you know, they just are like, well, why does that kid get so much? Our kid's faster. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. You're 9. Like, it doesn't matter who's faster right now. Like, we even have like one of the dudes that built Imagination, like Jason Baker, he has his right hand man is like Sean Rife, and he grew up
legend,
a legendary. Like, he was like battling Barsha, like all the top guys, like he was beating him, and now he just like not to like knock it, but like he just was kind of burnt out on the whole thing. So now he's not going to race Supercross. He's building tracks, and like that's his passion now, which is absolutely super awesome. But like you can see, like when he like built Imagination and then grabbed Tyler's bike at the end and started jumping stuff.
It was the gnarliest thing ever.
It was the gnarliest thing ever. And like he was just like, oh man, like these bikes are fast nowadays. Like he doesn't even ride anymore. He just hops on and jumps like the biggest stuff in the world.
Gnarly.
But like what I was getting at is that like he just got so burnt out because at a young age he was just getting, you know, it turned into a job. And, he was like the next best thing of dirt bikes. And even AC said the other day, Adam, yeah, you were saying like, man, just like when I was riding 50s, like that was the best time of my life, just hanging out with my family, going to ride. And like that's just kind of like what especially the FastHouse brand is about. And that's like lucky for us because we don't really put out a lot of results because we don't go racing that much. But it's just fueled by fun and the passion for it. So that's kind of like why I like helping the kids that I help out.
That's so cool to hear. And another thing to add to that too that I think is really interesting is what you're describing is like motocross racing is a very results driven sport.
110%.
And there's it doesn't like it comes from this old school mentality where dads are like, you need to get first. It ain't about looking good. It's about going fast or whatever the mentality is at the track. And then you look at the race and you see you, Twitch, Beerman, or whoever's doing the show. You know, you guys are on at the race, but you're not at the race. You're doing a freestyle show, and there are people lined up all around the entire. There's people that want more autographs from Vicki than the guy that got 8th place in the race, and you guys have such a bigger fan base. And like I'm walking through the pits, and unless it's like a top 10 guy, they have their helmet off. I have no fucking clue who they are, and I watch every race. And I couldn't even match a name to a face to a bike. But you guys, I feel like the draw is that they're like, you guys are relatable humans. You're inspiring because you go out on your bike, you do whips, you look cool, and you're having fun, and it shows. You can see there's like the results driven like. Pounding out motos for results, and then there's the people that enjoy their time on the bike, and I think it shows. Same with snowboarding. You can see when somebody's just like competing to compete and just checking the box, and the people that are having fun on their snowboards. It's cool how it all translates like that.
And I also feel like you can tell by someone's style too when they're having fun.
True. Yeah.
Like I feel like you can see 110%. Like when someone like is thoroughly enjoying it because they're having fun. Like when you session with like, I remember like the best times on a snowboard is like when you'd session like a downrail with your homies. And like it would get to the point where everyone was getting hurt, but you were still having so much fun. And like then like you watch like just all the rail jams and stuff, and like same with like doing the events with Moto. Like when that group of people ride together, like everyone just fuels off each other, and they're having like you watch them come down, their smiles, like you can see it in their eyes, they're having fun, and that to me is like that's why everyone like that's why you should do it.
Totally.
Oh yeah, it's like effortless progression of the sport. No matter what sport it is, because like as soon as you get with your buddy and you just play that one-up game, because you both are terrified, but it just takes one just to feed off the other, and then you get a group going, and then it's like the best time of your life because you're just terrified the whole time, but you're terrified together, so it works out.
But you're trying to see who can smile longer, so you're not terrified.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, you need that person to push you and scare the shit out of yourself with. Another thing I was thinking about too is I feel like. With FastHouse specifically, like it was really small, like 10 years ago. I feel like it was a small brand. I feel like, you and Bierman were like the two kind of like fundamental. It seems like you guys really grew with FastHouse as a brand.
Yeah. So, I mean, like FastHouse pretty much originally started with Tyler and another writer, Darren Durham. They did a vlog series. There you go. Yeah. But they did a vlog series called East Coast is Toast. And
have you ever seen it? Mm-hmm. Dude, it's so good.
And that's basically what built FastHouse is they took two like knuckleheads and they put them in a van together. And the thing with Supercross is you're not allowed to film inside the stadium without like ridiculous credentials. And so basically they barely ever filmed inside the stadium. And it was just all them being idiots, riding sometimes. And it made an insane vlog series. And they didn't even film them riding at the actual event. And I'm like, that takes some serious talent. And that's what basically like made the whole brand of FastHouse. And I came onto FastHouse basically right after I exploded my right ankle to the point where I didn't even know if I was going to get to keep my leg. And I've just like waddled in there with, I think I've finally got off crutches for one of the times before surgery. And I went and sat down with the owner, Kenny, and he was just like, I just started talking to him and chatting, and by the end of it, and I had like another deal actually kind of lined up with a different company with maybe a pay option. And this one, like when I first started, it was just like, hey, do you want some gear? And I like left there with gear. And I'm like, I don't need the other company. Like, this is where I want to be. And it was like the best decision I've ever made because of basically only Kenny. The owner of that company is like
a
family.
Fucking rad human.
He's like all of our dads. He just literally like wants to call and check in, make sure we're doing good. Do we need anything? And like, no owner of a company does that. Like, especially one of that magnification. And like, he literally calls us like, make sure we're doing good. We're well taken care of. And like, that's like what made it for me. And like, I don't even know if I've ever had like a contract from them. Like it's just a family vibe, you know. They take care of you, and I want to take care of them. Like it's just a full like family vibe there to where like I'll never leave.
So dope. And then you go to Day in the Dirt and you have every single kid in there. You know, it's like there's thousands of people that go to that race. I don't know how many people, and like 90% of them are. It's just grown into this. It just seems really cool. It started as this really small company, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa.
I say it all the time because you go to Supercross. How many people did you see racing in FastHouse?
Not very many.
Zero.
Yeah, exactly. Zero.
Absolutely zero.
Like,
but if you
maybe
go to,
one.
Yeah, maybe one. But if you go to the local track, how many people are in FastHouse?
Yeah.
Like 99%
yeah,
of them.
Totally.
It's insane.
It
like,
definitely works on Chris.
Yeah. I'm a avid add to cart. Boop. Yeah.
It's addictive.
He's actually the top spender there.
Yeah, top spender.
Number one.
Because of frequent
like,
spending.
Who is this?
Spender of the month.
Yeah.
They don't know when I got a 10% off code. I thought I'm actually factory. I'm on the team. They don't know that, but like, yeah.
In your mind?
In my mind, I am.
They're like, who is this?
That
at the
10%
cart?
off.
Oh, yeah. He abuses that code. He's like, add to cart, everything.
Gee, we got to get a new code. We got to get a new code ASAP. No, but I think I bought in for that reason because you're like, these guys are like, there's all these brands and it's all serious. It's about selling gear, but you go to this event and you just are like, holy shit, this is awesome. It's like going to a concert and you buy the band tee. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you go to Day in the Dirt.
band.
Yeah.
You go to the Day in the Dirt, you buy the band tee, and that's
And then you're in the band.
you're in the band.
It's
and you're like,
crazy.
yeah, I'm in.
Chris is in the band.
It's a good time.
Should we drink some pub beer?
Oh shit, I forgot about that. Yeah. It's time for that, buds. Let's get into the pub beer crapshoot.
Welcome to the Pub Beer Crapshoot.
You got one? All right.
Got one?
You guys got to roll some dice.
Okay, I can do that.
Right in front of you. Oh yeah, but before we do that, we got to talk to you guys about pub beer. How is that thing, buds?
It is. I haven't sipped it. Let's go.
Yeah.
As always, cheap, fun, and delicious.
Wow, I love that. Now, if you're thinking about responsibly having 1, maybe 2 beers,
Maybe 20.
what are you going to choose?
Every time pub beer.
Now, if you're also thinking about blacking out, drinking 45 beers, waking up face down in a bush, what are you going to choose?
Pub beer every
Wow,
time.
well said, buds. Okay. With that being said, let's get into the crapshoot. You guys should both roll some dice. You roll 2, we'll tell you what you got to do.
Okay, here we go.
The Goon Gear's a 6.
We got a 7.
7. Who is one of your favorite people to party with?
Tyler Bierman.
Give an air horn. That's actually the correct answer, I think.
I lived with him for 2 years.
That is the only answer.
Professional partier.
Oh yeah.
Great. All right. Well, now you got to roll one, Vicky.
How about a 5? What do we got?
5. Okay. Would you rather have a tattoo designed by Grenier and tattooed by Eastone, or designed by Eastone and tatted by Chris?
Ooh. I feel like you have some good artwork, so I might have you go designer.
And then Bud's tat? You should see his handwriting. That might be a mistake.
That would be a problem.
Where do we have to put this thing?
Wherever. There's no guidelines.
Is this like a
On
full
your face.
sleeve thing? Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Neck-
Let's roll again.
Well, speaking of tattoos, you're covered in them, Seth.
Yeah, I got a couple
You
job
got 'em
stoppers.
all over your neck, your head,
Fingers.
fingers. Yeah, I got to know what the parents like first time coming home neck tat. What do they say?
So it's actually funny because like I was just telling you out there, when I was like 17, I think I was like, I gotta get one. And my mom, like, I'm a mama's boy, 110%. Like
Give your
growing
mom
up.
an air horn.
Oh yeah. She's an angel. And so I was like, Mom, I want one. And she was like, I don't really see what's so bad about them. But my dad was like, no, you're not getting one. And my dad was like, I'll give you $1,000 not to go get it. And I'm like, okay. And then I still went and got it.
He gave you the Thowie or no?
No, he never gave me the Thowie. And then like it took a while for him to warm up to him. And then it kind of just turned into, I don't even know.
I mean, you're a Harley guy. You kind of got to have some tattoos, don't you?
Oh, I got a couple, yeah. And then like it's funny though, like I started and then like I did like stuff on my arms, and then I like once I got my arms done, I did my hands. So like I didn't do like the new cool thing that like I can't stand when like you go out in public and now when like kids have their hands tattooed and no tattoos anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like
or neck too. You
yeah,
see it?
I'm like you just want to be seen by people. Like when I started getting tattooed, like my tattoo artist is like, fuck that, you earn them. He's like, we start under the clothes and we work your way out.
Mm-hmm.
So like for years, I was getting my stomach done, my chest done, my arms. And then once I got like half of a bodysuit done, they were like, okay, we can do your neck now. So like I slowly worked my way like inside out. And then I put dumb luck on my knuckles, but then I also realized it says dumb fuck if you move your fingers. And I never noticed that till the lady at the grocery store that said they have fuck on my knuckles.
So you have fuck on your hand. Though.
Yeah, I have dumb fuck.
No, but what if you do it the other way? What does it say?
I don't know. It says dumb luck and fistful.
Oh, fistful. Oh, got it. Yeah, I like it.
I don't really, but I don't know how I messed that up, and I put fuck there.
Solid.
And then it took a while before I did my neck, and then once I did my neck, I like did one side of my head, and like I bicked it, and I was like, fuck it, I can grow hair, and it'll go back over it. And then I like did it, hair grew back over it, and I was like, God, I just want to do the whole head. And it took me a little while to do it because it sucks.
Well, that's beautiful. Let's get into hot takes, buds.
Let's do it.
So hot takes, we'll run through both your guys'. So we do it with snowboarding. Seth, maybe we'll do it for you for snowboarding too. But first, Vicky, let's do Michael Jordan or GOAT of motocross. Who you got?
That's a tough one. But I want to say it's James Stewart.
Yeah.
He's
solid.
Yeah.
I like it. I thought you were gonna say Carmichael. A lot of people say Carmichael, but Stewart. I
mean, he is good, but I mean, like, if we're going like results based only, sure, but
raw speed.
No, we're all about style.
Okay,
he's
Stu.
got that.
Love it. Who you got?
I'm a big Stewart fan too.
All right,
just
Stu.
like the stuff that he would do, he'd like no one else was doing.
Mm-hmm. True. No one's gonna argue that. All right, who you got in snowboarding?
Me?
Yeah.
JP Walker.
Oh wow. I like
110%. Not
Love
only
that.
because like his riding, but just like the whole style, and like I just feel like everything he brought to the sport was just, it's so different, and to this day is like feel like it's so much because of him.
Love it. Who's the most underrated? Let's do Moto for this one. Who's most underrated?
That's a tough
Underrated. I mean, I would say if we're going like freestyle stuff, a dude named Brody Wilson. You'll probably like he's
from Massachusetts.
He is from Mass.
Give him an air horn.
He likes Duncan.
Yeah. All of his tricks are like insane. And like extension, holding the trick, like every single thing is insane. But for some reason no one knows who he is. And I don't get that because he's an insane rider.
Yeah, put me in that category. I'm learning about him now.
Yeah,
Who you got?
It's funny because we literally talk about Brody all the time, because I'm like, how the hell is he not one of like the most known names? Because everything he does, it looks effortless.
Yeah, it's huge.
And like you tell people about Brody and they're like, who's Brody? And I'm like, he's just, I don't know, everything he does is like picture perfect, like bolts, everything's dialed. It's sick.
Okay, who's got the best style ever?
That's a tough one.
Man.
Because I'm a big TB and Axel fan.
New gen.
Yeah.
New school's taking them out.
Yeah.
I think like their style like is just, it's so sick. I tell Tyler all the time, like, dude, like watching your stuff is just like slow motion art.
Yeah. I mean, you almost have to like, it's tough because the amount of stuff Axel does with style is insane. But then you go back to Tyler and he doesn't do like all these like weird like turn up like cans, like he doesn't do like stoppies and like staying on his seat, doesn't do anything, and he is still so well known for just style. Like he doesn't flip, he doesn't do tricks, he doesn't act, not to like knock him, but you know what I'm getting at? Like he doesn't
do flips.
He doesn't do anything else, but he's so freaking like you just can't stop watching him ride. It's insane. Like Axel has all these jibs and all this crazy stuff and you can't stop watching him because he does the amount of stuff he does is endless, but it's just crazy because TB, I could watch him whip all day and I'm just still jaw dropped.
That's so dope.
That is a tough one because both of them fuel the fire.
Oh,
and
yeah,
watching them
insane.
together, like we call them Dumb and Dumber. They're
Oh my
perfect
God.
for each other.
Yeah.
They like knuckle 150-foot jump. They're, oh!
Yeah, I know.
I know.
You're like,
They're
dude, you almost died. I know.
Yeah, he's like, that was kind of gnarly. I'm like, yeah.
Dumb and Dumber. That's tight.
Dude, and literally Axel and TV together are like two of like, you just watching them exist, you just can't stop.
You know who
They
I
call
think?
each other Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, yeah.
Like we found out when they're on the show.
You know who I think the go to motocross is?
Who's that?
PH.
Oh, man.
PH is a hell of a human.
Don't, you can't say that. His head's going to get so big.
Yeah.
Oh, because he's
yeah.
gonna after he's
He's
gonna
like, you
watch
hear what Granger
this.
said? You hear him? Yeah, I knew it.
you hear what they said on their podcast. It's the best rider out there, and I was the best man.
Well, I am actually why Axel did everything. You know that. I get him so mad that he's so fucking pissed off. Then he goes and hits the jump. It's because of me. So, it's all because of fucking me.
Philip makes you feel fast standing still. You're like, Jesus, you're going fast.
Holy smokes. Okay. What else we got? Oh, we got worst trend. What do you got?
TikTok. Can't stand it. And like I feel like I just don't like it. And I mean, unfortunately, social media is a big thing, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I fucking can't stand it because all it showcases is fake fucking people. And I can't take that. Like I can't, like when I meet somebody in real life and then you see how they are on the computer, you're like, ugh. But like it's like, I mean, maybe it's from New England and people are like when I first drove out here, like people, like I was like, why the fuck are these people talking to me when I'm pumping gas? Like you come from New England, everyone's like, I fucking hate my job. What the fuck are you looking at? I'm going home eating a crawler. That's it. So I would probably say TikTok.
Respectable answer.
Good answer.
That's a great
A lot
answer.
of passion in that answer too.
A lot of East Coast. Your East Coast is showing.
Just me being grumpy.
Grumpiness. I think mine's kind of a catch-22 because it's like, I think the ability to like pick and choose what you can put on your Instagram, because there's so many people that you'll see on Instagram and you're like, oh man, that dude's fast. And then you see him at the track and he can't do a lap. And I'm just like, oh man.
It's about the angle of the dangle.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh man. Like it drives me nuts because you have zero ability to ride a dirt bike, but you're famous on Instagram for it. And I'm like, oh no.
They just show their best life, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I like to show everything. The temper tantrums, the bike in the bushes.
Which is good. That's good.
Yeah.
Keep it real.
You got to. No choice.
Instead of some fake life.
It's an interesting thing nowadays thinking about that with like, kids growing up so much in the computers, luckily we're old enough that, it's definitely a huge part of our life. I think technology is great because you can FaceTime your loved ones. You can
absolutely.
Brings you closer, but there's also like this, there's almost like some people start having
Double-edged
two
sword.
personalities. You're like, you're this way on the internet, but you're this way in person. And it's definitely a bizarre time to grow up.
Oh, yeah.
We call them a chameleon. They change with what they're around.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so true. I love it, but I hate it at the same time.
Yeah, true. It's definitely a thing we luckily didn't have to deal with growing up. But
yeah, I wasn't allowed a cell phone until I was 16.
That's sick.
Yeah.
I mean, Buds, how...
They didn't exist when I was 16. Pager. I had a pager
Dude,
at 16.
I like that.
Even talking about driving cross country, he was talking about that. I was thinking when you were talking, I was like, we used a map the first time I drove cross country. Like like highlighting where you want to
Paper
go.
map.
Like you had a big atlas. Like seems like if I was like, all right, I'm driving to Massachusetts, I got a fucking atlas. Or I'm going like to Idaho and I'm gonna pull out my atlas. Like that seems fucking crazy right now.
Dude, my dad still drives with a fucking road atlas.
Does he?
He just like in the front, just a big 24-inch. He just hits my mom in the face, and he's like, "Oh, yep, okay." But like to this day, like I'll always remember the time that I was driving through. My dad would drive from Connecticut through the Cross Bronx in New York and he'd do 400 miles a night. And I'm literally on the phone with him. He's like, all right, well, now you're through the Cross Bronx. You want to get in left lane. There's a big pothole on the right. There's going to be blowouts. And I'm like, signal on. And sure as shit, there's two cars with a blowout. And I'm like, what the fuck? This guy's a genius.
He's a road dog.
But like he taught me the first road trip I did, he made me bring an atlas.
I could never fold those things back up
Never.
once they were unfolded.
No, yeah. And then you unfold them. There's 19 different squares.
Yeah,
and
you're just like, what is up?
Like, what mile marker is that? I don't even know anymore.
And you're like, my iPhone was 2 minutes longer than it was supposed to be. God damn it. Like nowadays, there's such spoiled pieces of shit.
Dude, but do you remember the first like Garmin like window units you put on? There was like a
suction cup.
Dude. And then if they fall off the suction cup when you're driving, you're like, oh, what was that? It's terrifying.
I don't know how my parents did it because that was like, we would like load up to go to like Tennessee from California, and my dad was like, did you get the MapQuest printed out? And I'm just like, we're driving across country with just like, okay, step-by-step directions too of like,
Terrifying.
if you miss one, you're just going.
True.
If you miss one of those steps, like it's kind of detrimental.
Forgot about MapQuest.
Yeah.
18 miles, make a left turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just like, we're so spoiled now.
I totally forgot about MapQuest was awful, and like you'd have them in order wrong, and you're like 826 miles, turn on a like Hubbard Boulevard, and you're just like, the fuck, this was page 2, I need page 3, just all panicking and shit.
So true.
Spoiled now.
Good shit. All right, I got a couple. These are kind of hot take shoot-offs because we have two of you in the booth, so I thought it'd be funner. Okay, who's cleaner?
Oh, me. He's real stinky.
Yeah, I fart a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, who's more likely to end up in jail?
Still him.
Okay, who's more stubborn?
That one. Well, that's a pretty close.
Yeah, no, that's a
tiebreaker.
pretty close one because
Yeah.
I'm real stubborn, but sometimes
on
like,
the bike, me. Off the bike, him.
yeah, because on the bike I'm like whatever, but like in life, stubbornness, it's bad.
I know. I just walk away. I'm like, why don't you just do it this way? It'll be easier. And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay. And I just like, now I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I'll just like wait 20, 30 minutes and come back. And that's normally when we ended up doing what I suggested anyways. So I just like give it the time and come back.
Whatever.
Your East Coast is showing there too as well.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, who's faster on a dirt bike?
Her.
Still me.
Hey, who's faster in a foot race?
Me.
Oh yeah, he's got me.
Even with a bad Achilles, I can turn her on.
Yeah,
Those Achilles hurt when they go. Huh? I've heard about
Dude,
that.
it's brutal. And like mine was like worst case. Like I mean, I was an idiot.
Does it like curl up or
oh
something?
yeah, it was like stuck halfway up my thigh.
And then you just can't even use it.
No, I had drop foot, but like my problem is I'm like, oh, like every one of like our friends, like they blow their ankles apart. So instantly I was like, oh, I broke my ankle. So I waited like 4 days before I went to the doctor. I was walking on it.
Oh, you were?
Oh yeah, for like 4 days.
I thought you couldn't even walk. That's crazy.
Oh, I just like would lock out my knee and then just Frankenfoot it, just
in pain.
yeah, and then eventually
that's where the stubbornness came back in. He's like, "No, I'm not going to the doctor," and I'm like, "You probably should. It's purple."
And it rolls up your back of your leg, like you're saying.
So if you went earlier, it would have been not as bad.
If you would have went earlier, and if you wouldn't have kept walking on it, would have been way better.
Yeah,
because it starts to heal up your leg like that.
Oh no.
Yeah,
but you didn't take the advice.
No,
respect.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Well, we get this question a lot, and I think it's interesting. You guys have obviously obliterated your bodies multiple times, all kinds of injuries. I get messages from kids like, "Hey, man, I just blew out my knee. Like, or what do you recommend I do? What do you guys have? Do you have any advice for people who just got injured that are like in the hurt box right now?"
I don't know if you want to take his advice, dude. He just walks around.
Yeah, no, I'm bad.
Yeah, just ignore it.
Yeah, don't. You can't even talk.
Oh no, I'm like full denial, and I'll like
you're taping up.
I've like
your
felt
wrists.
it crack, and I'm like, no, it's all right.
Nothing wrong.
Nope. And I'm just more in denial because I know like the minute I go to my doctor, it's gonna be like, oh
Time
yeah,
off the bike,
worst case scenario, you definitely need surgery and all this stuff. And even like when I exploded my foot at Imagination, I was just sitting there and I was just quiet because like I knew, but they're like, how's it feel? Like, it's all right.
It's fine.
Yeah. And I was like, even like I went to the physio there. He's like, can you go get an x-ray just to see what we're working with? So now I know how to like tape you up. And inside I'm still like, I don't think I can pull this one, but
you're like, I don't want to have this guy see my x-ray.
And then I, sure enough, like I went to got an x-ray, and the doctor comes in. He's like, oh yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, no, like, because you guys say that a lot, so I don't trust you, even though you're a certified doctor.
They
don't
do
care.
say that, huh?
Yeah, I'm like, let me see the x-ray because I am a doctor.
From like Happy Gilmore, what do I know? I'm just a doctor.
Yeah. And I was just like still full denial. And at this point, it's hurting so bad, I definitely can't even walk anymore. But I'm just like hobbling through the pain, like fighting it. And then I see the x-ray and like the bones dislocate. It's just like this in my foot and just like not even close to being like slightly broken. It's fully broken, not even lined up anymore. And I'm like, okay, yeah, the doctor might be right.
Time to take a break.
And we all like, I use like, she got me introduced to her foot doctor, and then I get introduced to her other doctor. So like,
You guys share doctors.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's just funny because like I just seen our doctor the other day, and like when I did my like Achilles, he got the MRI report and it was like full rupture, need repair. And I was like, I still responded, said, okay, so what does this mean? And he circled ruptured knee. And I was like, okay, so what does that mean? He's like, you need surgery tomorrow. And I was like, shit. But like that, honestly, I think like the best thing with like getting hurt is just like, it sucks, but it doesn't last forever. And it's like, as stupid as it is, I'm sure you know, like when you're hurt and like, even though like the thing that like did it to you, whether it's snowboarding or dirt bikes, like whatever got you hurt, all you really want to do is get back on it, which makes no sense at all.
It's true.
But it actually like it means a lot coming from like someone who's had that injury or a similar injury, because like they kind of like walk you through it too. Like even like dumb little stuff. Like when I shattered my heel into like a million pieces, and like it was like almost like career ending completely. And I had compartment syndrome, which is like basically if you start losing toes, and like you would lose your leg if it doesn't get the pressure doesn't get released, because you build up so much that things just start dying. So like I that's what Ken Roxon had when he did his arms, and he reached out and was like, dude, how are you doing? Like, and I had so many people that like shattered their heel and be like reaching out, like asking how I'm doing, and like, oh, this part of it sucks, but this part's really good. And then like even like just little stuff of like, oh, go go get this orthotic. It makes a huge difference. And like just that little stuff of like knowing that like someone else has been through this and they're back on their bike. So like, okay, like this is manageable. We can do this. And like, even like I said, now I have people hit me up like, oh, I did my ankle like that. Like they even go, what doctor did you go to? And I send them to my doctor and like they go see him. So I don't know,
Even
it's just
though
like
we never send our
stuff.
doctor good patients.
No, never. Yeah.
He's always
Repeat
like,
customers, probably.
He's
Oh,
always
yeah.
like, you guys send me the most fucked up feet and ankles. He's like, you never send me
Yeah.
like an easy job.
Unfortunately, I've had like, I don't know, like at least 8 surgeries just on my ankles, and they're all pretty much from the same doctor. So me and him are super tight. we get along just fine because I've seen him so much.
Giving this guy a lot of
Oh
money.
yeah, and I've sent him a lot of patients. So like in after his injury with his Achilles, he called me right after the surgery, and I was just sitting in the parking lot waiting for him. So he called me, and like I've sent him some other people that had some pretty like extensive work done. And so this was like the second or third person that I've like sent to him that like I knew that it was like going to be really tricky to repair. And he calls me right after and he's like, dude, he's like super frustrated. And he was like, dude, I can't take any more of your referrals. This is getting ridiculous. And he was like, it wasn't just like, he's like, I had like the perfect incision and I was getting ready to pull and thing just like wouldn't latch on. I couldn't get it to pull down. So I had to make the incision a little bigger. He's like, my perfect little incision. Then I just had to say screw it, and I had to cut his whole leg open.
Wow.
And he was just so frustrated with me on the phone because he's like, it wasn't just a clean tear thing. He's like, the thing exploded in there. He's like, oh, it was just a nightmare. He's like, I had 3 doctors in there helping me.
Jeez.
And it was just
That's
like,
fucked.
it was just so funny because he was just calling me to vent. And he's like, I can't
Thanks
take
for this
your-"
referral.
Yeah, you got a
Vicky.
surgeon calling you to vent.
But at the same time, he goes on like a lot of vacations.
He's in this area. isn't he?
Yeah, he flies to Salt Lake almost
really?
every weekend just to go. He loves snowboarding and
Give him an air horn.
Oh yeah, but he'll go on like a vacation. I'm like, and then I'll be like, did my surgery pay for that one? And I'm like, when are you taking me? I've got to have at least 10% on this commission by now. I'm like, I've had 8 or so surgeries with you.
Yeah, you should be getting
So
like
good.
get 8 surgeries, 1 free type of deal.
Oh yeah, it was funny though. For Day in the Dirt, what was it? The first year of Imagination, so 2 years ago, I literally blew up my foot, and I texted him my pictures, and he was like, oh, well, he's like, how'd you manage that one? That thing looks messed up. And so like I landed in San Diego with Twitch, and I got my truck from his house, and I went straight from there to his office to show him the x-rays, and so he could call and like line up the surgery and stuff.
Damn.
And sure enough, I told him like, hey, like I got a race in like a month I need to do. And I was like, I wasn't really like asking him, like, I'm doing Day in the Dirt. Like, it means this much to me that I'm doing Day in the Dirt. I'm like, what do we got to do? He's like, oh, all right. I didn't know this was like a demands. And I was just like, oh, I'm doing it. And he's like, all right. He's like, I'm going to put an extra plate in there and an extra couple screws so you can do Day in the Dirt. So I have more hardware in my foot just because I wanted to race Day in the Dirt.
That's kind of psycho.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's actually funny you say that. The surgeon that does a lot of snowboarders here, he was explaining to me, he's like, you guys put your body through a lot more than the average person. So the average person, I might put this rod in, but I know that your guys are going to really be like, it's like bigger suspension on your bike. We're going to put thicker rods in for you guys because we know you're putting your body through more.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they know.
Interesting. Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
know.
And it's also funny because the two like are like normal doctor and then the surgeon are also really good friends. So they like text back and forth just talking shit on us all the time about how beat up we are.
Or I tried to go around the surgeon, and I like went to Navarro. He's like our guy for like all the physio and stuff like that. And I like tried to go around Nas, our surgeon, and be like, oh, can I get the stitches taken out yet? And he's like, no. So I went over to Navarro. I'm like, hey, can you take my stitches
Get
out?
a different guy to do it.
Yeah, but they like
And
talk
then
to
he
each
like
other.
texts. He's like, the surgeon said you can't take these out yet. And I'm like, why? We were just like dumb children when it comes to that stuff. We just want to get out.
Anything to get out
Oh,
faster.
Yeah, like right now, I just obliterated my shoulder. Super common injury. A lot of people do it. And it's like I can't. The biggest thing with injuries is I can't get exercise right now. So it fucks up my mental. Like I can't go snowboard or ride my dirt bike or skate or aside from sitting on an Aerodyne bike, basically, or sitting on a bike, like, how do you guys get through the mental aspect of like, all right, I'm on the couch for fucking X amount of months?
Yeah. That shit's tough.
Video games.
That's why she's good at video games.
Yeah.
I unfortunately only had a PS2, and then from there on out, I've just been screwed. But
you just get sucked into video games, and that's pretty much the only way you survive, is just like keeping your mind busy with something.
yeah, because honestly, like the biggest thing of being hurt is like you wake up, like when you're healthy, like you have a routine. So like you wake up and then before you know it, you're going back to bed. But when you're hurt, I feel like the days drag on. And like when you can't exercise, you're sitting on the couch. Like that to me is super hard because like I can't sit still. Like
he was the worst.
Yeah, I'm late for stuff when there's nothing to be late for. Like I'm in a rush for nothing. So honestly, like when I was laid up, like the hardest thing for me was obviously like not being able to exercise because like I couldn't even keep, like the second I'd put my foot down, it would swell up so bad I'd be like screwed. So like all day on the couch, elevated. And then like, it was just like trying to be patient. And like, I was like a stubborn, angry prick, which just it was awful. Like I literally remember one time, like she was like trying to chill me out. And I was like, I'm like, you don't even know what it's like. And I was like, fuck, I'm such an asshole. You literally almost lost your foot. Like,
you don't know what this is like, Jack.
I'm like,
actually,
I'm so sorry. I'm
know.
like, well, DoorDash ice cream. I'm sorry. But honestly, just like trying to find stuff to like chill your mind out is the hardest thing. And like she brought me some video games and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
I know. Yeah. He was like, I don't play video games. And I'm like, you need to play them. I'm like, just do this. I'm like, and he was just sucked in for like, it lasted a good while. I'm like, perfect. But he was like the worst at being injured because he would like, I like took time off riding. I didn't really ride and just took care of him. And he would like set an alarm for like 7 a.m. And I'm like, why are you setting an alarm?
I would set an alarm and make her get up, put different clothes on me, and then I'd go sit on the couch.
He was like, it's time to go sit on the couch now. And I'm like, what?
You are from the East Coast. Classic.
Oh, yeah. I was the complete opposite. I'm like, I want to take as much CBD as possible, and I want to sleep through as much of the day and just get this thing over with, and I just want to be unconscious for most of it. And he's just like complete opposite. He's like, I need to go sit on the couch time. And I'm like, what?
Because to me, like, that was like a routine. Like, I would get up, I would get ready for the day, and unfortunately, my fucking day was the couch. But, like, at least, like, that gave me a little bit of spirit to being like, oh, okay, I can do it. And then, like, once I was able to, like, use crutches and everything, like, that was huge. But then it was to the point, too, where I was like, how much can I use them? Like, we got a knee scooter, which I started doing. And then, like, once, like, you start getting out, I'm like, dude, I would sit outside and just eat breakfast. And I'm like, oh, it's so nice out here.
Yeah, the video game thing's pretty interesting, too. I think about, like, my game is NHL. I love playing NHL, like, whatever. And so you could tell the years I got hurt because I'd have, like, NHL 12, and then I wouldn't have like then I get like NHL 15, and I'd have like NHL 17. But like the year, I'm like I haven't bought a video game in a while. It's fucking we're doing pretty good.
You just know all the years you're like, what year did you break this year? I call and let me look at my video game stash.
It's so true because like the other night I was like, what video games you got? She's like, they're pretty old. And what were we playing?
Oh, I don't even know.
Need for Speed or something.
Yeah, Need for Speed was sweet.
And she's like, check out all my cars I bought. I'm like, God, you did play this game. I'm like, these are awful.
It was pretty funny though. His surgery got delayed by like 12 hours. So he was like completely grumpy, and it was during like prime COVID stuff, and I had to sit in the parking lot and just wait. And he was so pissed off and grumpy. And I was allowed to like sneak him in some like basically Zins, and that was like the only thing.
Yeah, no, they were like no food, nothing to drink. So I was just putting pouches in the whole day, and he was zinging.
Oh, he was so pissed off and grumpy, and they kept just like pushing it off. It wasn't like, okay, it's gonna be at this time. They kept just like pushing it with like timing of like the surgery center and like all this stuff, so it just kept getting pushed, and he didn't eat all day, so he's just like fired up and grumpy. And he finally was just like, he's like, I'm gonna leave. I'm like, no, you can't leave, you have to get it fixed. Like, it's not something you can just like put off. I'm like, he's like, no, fuck this, I'm leaving. And he was finally so pissed off, he's like, fuck this, I'm leaving. I'd rather just walk like you the rest of my life. And I'm like, wow,
that's amazing.
And he like texted back immediately and was like, Oh, I'm sorry. And then I like texted the surgeon. I'm like, hey, can we like get him something? Because he's getting fired up.
So I got a bunch of morphine and I fell asleep.
You guys need to sedate this guy.
Dude, it was fucked. Like, I got to that surgery, like, literally, I think we were there at like 7 in the morning. I didn't get operated until 10 o'clock at night. So I was sitting in the hospital all day with no food, no water. Like, I don't even know what other than just nicotine. That's the only thing I was feeding my fire.
Yeah, that's definitely really good for you. I know they love that when you do that.
And she couldn't, like she said, she couldn't even sit in there and visit me. Because, like, it was during the COVID shit.
That was sad.
So
I couldn't even, like, make him stay in the hospital bed. I'm like, oh, he's probably halfway out the door.
So the whole time I was just buzzing her. And then eventually they just gave me so much morphine. I was just like...
All right. We're going to basically, we always do setups with our guests. Usually it's a snowboard. But what's your Moto setup and what's your Harley setup? Run us through it before we wrap this thing up.
Dude, my setups are probably going to take a while. I have, like, specific bike set up for like a motocross track, softer suspension that like works better for like bumps and stuff. And then freestyle bike, we go pretty in tune with everything. And I'm pretty like not picky, but like I've noticed the dumbest stuff. Like I can notice like I used to cut my handlebars in just to like make it a little bit more like for leverage. And then my mechanic complained so much that I stopped doing it. But one time like I didn't cut them enough and I cut them like 12 mil, which is like this much. And I didn't cut one side enough. And I'm like, it's off. And I could just tell the dumbest stuff, but I try and like back that off. So like I just like make sure now, like pretty much all my freestyle bikes, I literally will take like a level to and just make sure my levers on my handlebars are set. And if those are in like the same spot, I'm good. But we do like setup for like suspension. Obviously, like for grab tricks, we have to like cut our air box, relocate our battery for like electric start because it's like right where our hands go for grabs. So we like kind of move some stuff around for that. Just small stuff like relocating wires for like cables, just to like kind of accommodate some extra parts we put on our bike for freestyle. But yeah, I'm not like super picky. I've pretty much found what I like now, and thankfully like nothing really ever changes. So
are all your bikes
set.
the same brands?
Yeah, they're all the same brands. I have one that's like an off, like fun bike that's like an older bike that I ride now, but everything else is like I keep them all the same brands. I used to like just have
so
like,
they feel the same. Probably.
Yeah, I used to just be like, oh, whatever I can get, I'll ride. But now
what is it?
I ride KX 450s now, and I get them through a pretty rad dealership up north, Motorsport Hillsboro, and they're super easy. Ooh, thank you. And they're super easy to work with, and they're just like it's literally funny because the one race at Washougal I met you at. That's the one race. They're like, if you come do this race for us, we'll give you bikes for the year. And it's just some random like Pacific Northwest Pride race. And they just want this trophy. And they're like, you come race and we'll help you with bikes.
They beat Team Bomb Hole, I'll tell you.
Ooh.
Yeah. Team, what is it, Mountain Sports?
Motorsport.
Or what's the brand that gives you the bikes?
It's Motorsport Hillsboro.
Motorsport Hillsboro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Motorsport Hillsboro.
Yeah.
They won. You guys won. Right?
Yeah, that's literally like I said.
That's their pride.
No one knows what this race is except for everyone in the Pacific Northwest, and it's the biggest deal. You could bring. They do have a national motocross national at this track, and it's probably bigger than that. And that's pretty much how I get my bikes every year is through them. And it's pretty easy for me now that I've been on them for so long that I pull the parts off the old ones, put them on the new ones, and we're pretty good to go.
Killer. Seth, what do you got? What are you rocking with?
Bike setup.
This could take a while too.
So let me check here. We have 120 hours left on this card, so just try to keep it in there.
Okay. Oh man, I don't know. That's tough. Got a lot of bikes. But no, I mean Harley stuff is like I always try to set them up like as close to like a moto bike as you can, and I always run run shorter bars and stuff, but I always try to like similar to what she says. I have a couple bikes and I try to make them all feel the same. But I like have my seats custom made so they push me forward because I'm vertically challenged, so I'm short as shit. So I have trouble with like the reaching stuff. But obviously, like I got a suspension company out in Sturgis, South Dakota, Legend Suspension. They're top notch. So they make them they're heavy ass bikes and they always like get them dialed in. So pretty much like suspension is a necessity for the Harleys, getting them set up like bars and risers, how you want to feel on them. And then after that, it's kind of like what you want. Like I always do chain drive on them because they come belt, but the belts always snap. So it kind of just making them like a little more able to take the abuse because they do break and they break a lot. So you try to minimize that. And then Moto, like I'm a big 2-stroke guy. I don't like 450s because they always want to hurt me. So I like 2 strokes. But other than that, like 2 strokes, I'm simple. You could give me pretty much anything to ride other than a 450 and I'll ride it.
Sick. That's awesome. And also you want to make them look cool too. It's like
I'm a big fan.
You don't want to take that stock Harley and just ride it. You
No,
gotta make
I
it
can't do that. Like
the build's the best part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk about that too much. Like the build, because that's something with snowboarding I've grown to love, where you set up a snowboard, I like make my time in the garage, but really there's 4 screws, and maybe you you might adjust your forward lean, and you really can only get so tech with
so
your
much you
setup.
can do.
Get a 15-12.
Yeah, more 9 -3 or 6
9
-3. I like to keep it pretty straight, knee straight. But for bikes, it's like this whole like part of the deal is like, all right, I'm changing my fucking clutch plates or whatever it is. And
That's gnarly. And it's like
suspension alone is just endless.
Yeah, the changes you can do, and like not to mention how expensive it is. Like a good set of suspension, like it's like it's spend stupid amounts of money. But building the bikes is honestly one of the funnest part, because like I build all my Harleys, so like I'll get the frame in the garage and you look at it and you're like, oh, what do I want to do? And then you're like, I want this piece chrome, I want this piece black, and then the more you put it together, it's like it's also good, but then like you get to a point and you're like, oh, I don't want to use this anymore, I need to do this. So it's like you have it pre-built in your head, but then by the time it is built, it's already changed like 19 times. Mm-hmm. But that's fun.
Totally. And there's that like Zen thing too. I feel like when you're obviously at a certain point in time, it does become a little bit like when your job, like when you're racing Supercross, wrenching on your bike is not probably a fun. It's more of a chore. Yeah. But when you only do it like as a recreationalist, like I fucking love it. I'm like,
it's so fun.
I need 2 hours. I'm putting on a podcast or whatever, and I'm just gonna turn some T handles and change the plastic, and it's just awesome. I don't know.
It's fun. Yeah. And it's like, fuck, I mean, we just did 2-stroke national, and like we were literally in the garage till midnight putting bikes together so we could go and race the next day. And like, yeah, there's times where it sucks, but at the end of the day, like the garage is my happy place. Mm-hmm. I love it. And like, I just find something, so like I'll go out there and not even really work on anything sometimes. Like she knows, like I'll just go out there and like take a seat off, look at the filter and be like, I just might put the seat back on. But like, I just love being out there. Like I'm a tinkerer. Mm-hmm. Like I always love working on stuff. So that's why like building the bikes and this being surrounded by the motorcycle aspect is sick.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, well, we're going to probably wrap this thing up. Before we do you want to throw out any thank yous?
I'm going to go a big thank you to Bombhole Racing. Woo! I'm trying to get that sponsorship. I heard they picked up Chris, so I'm like, oh, maybe they'll get another room for another rider.
Yeah, we can.
Let's be honest, Chris sponsored himself.
I don't know. That's a pretty hard sweatshirt, though. I'm trying to work towards that.
Yeah, we can.
I'm sending my resume.
Yeah, send the resume. We'll review it. We'll review it.
Maybe a discount code. I'm hoping.
I could go for a 10.
Well, if you guys, maybe like a list of results and stuff like that. Okay. You guys got that?
Achievements?
We're a results-based company.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I got my 2023 schedule all printed out. I'm ready. I got
maybe some podium incentive too. We can look at that.
I could do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe match your X Games winning, something like that. We'll see what we do.
Reels play bonuses.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. What else? You got any thank yous, Seth? Before we throw a bow on this thing.
I mean, definitely we got the bomb hole. I'm stoked to be here, and thank you guys for having me. And it's crazy how we met years and years later from something not even what I intended to be doing for a living. But I mean, obviously all the companies and families who support me and keep me going to be able to do what I do and actually call a job. I really don't know what that is yet, but we're working towards it. But yeah, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here.
Amazing. Well, appreciate you guys coming on the show. It's been a blast chatting with you guys. And I want to say thank you to all of our listeners, all of our viewers, anybody that's bought a piece of merch, all of our sponsors. You guys fucking rule. And we will see you next week. Over and out from the bomb hole.